Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Wikid Weekend Podcast. This week we're doing a special kind of new thing called the Artist Edition, and so we got our Wikid Creators on, and we're joined by their artists today to talk to them a little bit about their projects and what they've got going on. First of all, why don't you guys introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Who wants to go first?
I'll go ahead. I'm Dan Sakura. I'm the writer-creator of Adobe Kroger Dame Commander. And with us is Leandro Panganaban. He is the incredible god-tier penciler who is bringing that book to life.
Hey guys, this is Leandro. I'm the artist for Adobe Kroger, and I'm just glad to be part of the team here.
Leandro also may or may not be Will Spartacio's illegitimate son.
He will neither confirm nor deny, right?
Yeah.
And speaking for myself, we're very glad to have Leandro on our team. He's an enormous asset to all of our properties. Like bringing his talent to the table has really added an enormous value to this project.
Yeah, that's great. It's always good to find good collaborators to work with. And Brett, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right, I'm Brett McGowan. I am the writer-creator of Changeling and Urban Fairy Tale, the young adult title in the Mythoverse, and I've got my penciler, Victor Campon, and my colorist, Chris Ginger Foxy. Say hi, guys.
Hello. Hello.
Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate it, guys.
Ginger Foxy, say hi, guys.
Oh,
Hi.
Sorry, that was that was on me. I opened the YouTube feed.
That's fine. I've done that before. I totally get where you're coming from. So, but yeah, so we appreciate, like I was saying, we appreciate you coming on. And then Matt, rounds out the Mythoverse creator crew. Welcome.
Yep, I'm Matt Trent, writer-creator of Mythics, and glad to be here.
And your artist is we want you to go ahead and introduce your artist as well.
Sorry, I'm a little lost here. I'm really new to Hangouts.
This first, we appreciate you jumping on here with us.
Thank you.
So we got the introductions out of the way. First, we have to address this. We have to give you guys a huge congratulations because you guys have reached success on your Kickstarter for the Mythoverse, and that is just amazing. So first off the bat, I just wanted to say how awesome that is, and just congratulations, guys. You should be really proud right now. And how do you feel about it?
Thank you. We are very proud of it, and we would not have gotten anywhere without the talents of our artists, because without us being able to show off their work, no one would have glanced at us twice. So I honestly think they're the real heroes here, and I couldn't be happier with how everything has turned out.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, I have to say I'm really surprised about it. This is my first time working with such a big group of people. I have to say I'm proud of this team.
Nice. Yeah, that's great. Has it been kind of a new experience for you working with with these guys? Sorry. Just in terms of the art, you said that it was you never worked with such a big team before. So what has it been like, kind of diving into working with such a big team like this?
Well, I'm more used to work on solo. For starters, when Brett got me into this, I was a bit afraid since I'm not too experienced about the fantasy world.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you've adapted quite nicely.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's just like I've said this like about a half a dozen times already, but it doesn't stop being true. But that I more or less did take a chance on having both Victor and Ginger, and it paid off because I was surprised to see how well their two styles actually meshed together.
Sorry about that. No, I totally get what you mean. Yeah, like the art just it's one thing to have line art or colors that are great, but when they mesh so well and come together to make the whole thing better, it's an incredible combination. So we've never had the artist on before. For the artists, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about how you first came to start working with the Mythoverse creators? Anyone can go ahead and feel free to start as well.
Well, Dan came to me looking for some character designs.
Kind of started off with just concept work.
Yeah, we had some, I think around 5 characters he wanted done. And from there, he decided to, try out some pages for me to work on. I mean, I enjoyed working on the characters for Dan, so we went on from there. And to my surprise, we're doing 3 books now, with Matt, Brett, and the other artists.
Yeah, I can say very unequivocally that Leandro's work was so top of the line with those character designs that I knew I had to work with him with the comic that I had been planning. And I had reached out to several other artists, but Leandro, in terms of not only his skill, but also his professionalism and how quickly he turned those designs around, led me to believe that if I was going to do this project, it would either be with Leandro or I wouldn't bother. So it worked out beautifully, and I couldn't not be happier with how everything turned out in the end.
Well, it was interesting working on that certain piece, Adobe in the Rain with her banjo.
Oh yes, that's something of a pivotal action set piece in the novel, where she's woken up in the middle of the night, in her pajamas, attacked by a monster, and the only weapon she can reach is the banjo. So she consecrates it, turns it into a holy weapon, and ends up fighting this monster in the rain in her underwear with a banjo. And it's just such a fun scene.
All right. I understand that scene.
Yeah, I like how the Mythoverse is a universe it has room for dark and serious moments, but there's also room for those lighter moments of humor and fun. It's a good. I think that's a nice balance to have.
Absolutely. That scene in particular is just an instance of the tone is serious, but it's a ridiculous situation, and the character is just like, okay, great. So now what? I either do this or I die.
Yeah, that's an interesting combination too, where you're getting a little bit of both at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the campaign page real quick, if you guys don't mind.
Now go for it. People are still donating to it too.
Oh, nice.
We're at 6,016 right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when we got 8 hours left.
Yeah, I mean, now that we're funded and we're on the, I think we're above the fold now, and if you sort by comic projects by end date. So that's what a lot of people do. I've read that a lot of times people will just look for new comic projects that are ending soon, that look interesting, and they'll hop on it. So we're getting a lot more visibility now. So I expect we'll get a couple more donations before we close out.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, by the way, if you guys got questions for Beth, I can send them to Beth over DMs and still answer them.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, we wanted her to join us today, but she was unfortunately unable to do so.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's great. That's a good way. Anyone in the chat, and if you have questions for her, any of the other creators or artists here, please feel free to leave those in the chat.
Now that image right there that Leandro did of the 3 ladies and the dragon, that's probably my favorite pinup of the campaign. I just think that is so killer.
It's a really cool action shot, and you get to see all 3 characters really in their ready to get into action mode, which is cool to see.
Yeah. Like I was saying before, this is like the Avengers Assemble moment right before they charge the bad guys.
Yep.
Now, is there anything you can tease us about that dragon at this time?
The dragon is, well, I don't want to because I think it's a really cool
fair.
twist.
Fair. No, keep it safe. You know,
Yeah.
I'm all for keeping your twists close to the chest. You know, got to keep play it safe. So
Yeah. But let's just say it's a huge part of the world and the universe, the nature of that dragon, and it will be a satisfying payoff when you finally get to this point in the storylines.
Yeah, that's great. Now, the you guys had a Maeve hoodie, isn't that right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we have 7 backers or maybe 8 at this point that have ordered it.
Which where is that on the tier?
There are 2 tiers. Right there, the Maeve Stash tier. Okay, 2 people have ordered that. That's just the hoodie and the books, and because we wanted to have a more economical option for those that wanted the hoodie, because the hoodies are all handmade, one of a kind, and they're not cheap to manufacture or ship. So we unfortunately had to charge something of a premium to make it worthwhile to make them.
I think it makes sense. I mean, it's a high quality item you're getting.
Oh yeah, it's not cheap. It's a real high quality hoodie, and my daughter loves hers. She wears it all the time. She got the first prototype, and all the promo images you see with Maeve's face pasted over the little girl, that's my daughter. But I wasn't show her face online. So
that's funny.
But, yeah, so we have two backers there, and if you scroll down to the bottom tier,
I actually know one of the $50 tier backers.
Nice.
Yeah, then there was 6 backers there. So yeah, 8 hoodies have been ordered by backers. Yeah,
that was a popular item.
Yeah. I think it may have been a bit more popular if it weren't so expensive, but we just couldn't find a way to make it any cheaper than we did.
Right. Yeah, it totally makes sense. And did you mention who was creating those? By the way, sorry.
What did you say?
I was just saying, did you mention who was making those again?
My wife's making them.
Oh, that's awesome. So I'm sure she's got a lot of work to do now.
Oh yeah, she does. And we actually, she has a vinyl cutter machine, and we went out and got a screen printing kit. So we're going to be prototyping several other items of apparel in the future.
Very cool.
Yeah, but the Maeve hoodie, she had a blast with it because just like she's a problem solver in her own way. Like I'm a software developer and I solve one kind of problem, and she just sat down and just solved this whole hoodie all by herself.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad it all came out so nicely.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, like I said, my daughter loves it.
That's just precious to hear, Dan.
Yeah.
Did you give her like a? Did you guys make her like a small size hoodie?
Oh yeah, it's a child size hoodie.
Nice.
If you scroll down, you can see a photo of her wearing it with her face pasted out.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, Chuck said he just bumped up his amount to get the hoodie for his niece.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, looks like we're going to be pretty busy.
Thanks, dude.
Well, I had a feeling that the hoodies would become popular in the last few days.
Yeah.
Those cat ears. I mean, how can you not want one?
Yeah. It's adorable.
Yeah, but it's one of those where because of Kickstarter, the way Kickstarter works, people are gonna wait and see before getting it, so that they have the money. Yeah, unlike Indiegogo, which you could just buy right now if you had the money.
Yeah, that's the difference between the two platforms, and the fact that there's no flexible goal options. So this whole time, Matt and Brett and I and our other friend Tank were treating this like a whole second job. We were heavily promoting, schmoozing. I ran ads on 3 different social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we were all reaching out constantly tweeting, retweeting. I joined Facebook groups. I schmoozed on Facebook groups. I blasted my friends list on Facebook, and and it could have come to nothing in the end. Like we could have made it to like $5,000, and okay, well, that whole month you just put into it's gone now. So there's an argument to be made for the flexible goal, and there's arguments to be made against it. But in the end, I'm not sure what approach we'll take next time, to be honest.
I will say, like, man, when we get pushed over the 5K line, it felt like for a while it was touch and go, and then I guess she's probably not going to care if I name her in this instance. But yeah, the person who pushed us over the 5K line was Vamp from the Kumite. Yeah.
Right, and she wanted that hoodie.
She wanted that hoodie. She wanted that hoodie so bad. She DM right when she pledged. She DM'd me, showing me the receipt saying, "I want my hoodie." Vamp was the hero that day.
Yeah, and in the end, one thing we found out, this was our first crowdfund for all of us that we were running anyway. And there's a lot of people out there that say there's a trick to it or there's a magic bullet, like people charge for seminars and all that. There really isn't one. There's no panacea for it. In the end, it comes down to one very simple principle: just develop positive relationships with people. That's it. I mean, and that's what put us over the line. Like after we had our initial funding burst where we had the $1,000 from a lot of our hardcore fans on Twitter, I mean, I blasted my Facebook group. I talked to people that I've known for years, people that I've played WoW with, people I played EverQuest with, people I was on bulletin board systems with, people I went to high school with, and they all were very excited because, you know, I had a good relationship with them and they loved our product and they all bumped into it. And that really gave us the initial boost to get to this point, I think. And while our community and our platform isn't enormous, it is avid. And that's a good sign. We get lots of fan art for all the properties. So this is the seed that will grow a mighty oak for us. It's going to take some time. We're not going to fund in 20 minutes like some of the bigger names, but in the end, we will get there.
I'm just happy. I kind of told this to both Matt and Dan a couple times, but I was kind of at the point where, like, either succeed or fail. I was just going to be relieved when it was over.
Yep.
I mean, because
I'm glad we came out. I'm glad we went out swinging and we succeeded. But it's just like
well, we look like Rocky. I mean, we went the whole 10 rounds and we were beat to shit, but we are still standing and we may not get the decision, but you know, we went through it and we showed that we could push it all the way through, win or lose.
Yeah, I know. It's just a relief to finally have it over is all.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you go to sleep worrying about what the balance will be when you wake up. And the first thing I would do is check my phone. And there were some days where it wouldn't have moved from the previous night. And I was like, oh, great. Here we go.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
So,
that's tough. Yeah.
I got to get up and push again, like even harder. You know, I got to join another Facebook group and show off all the art and schmooze and strike up conversations with these other folks that I've never known before and try to sell them on our work. And in the end, it turned out that Facebook was much more effective than we had thought in terms of, because I had written it off as a wasteland because I wasn't getting any engagement except from people I knew. But then I joined all the Facebook groups, and over time, like after a couple of days, we started to get a little more refers from Facebook, and I think that's maybe what caused it.
Yeah, I think we got about like a sixth of our goal from Facebook. Funny thing was, I actually checked the backer stats. We made most of the money we got out of Facebook, but most of the pledges came from Twitter.
Right, and I think the answer to that is I think Brett postulated that a lot of the people that initially donated from Facebook were people that I reached out to and who knew me and were ready to back almost anything I did. And a lot of them are my age and they're professionals or, you know, their family or whatever, and they're willing to dump in large amounts. But the people on Twitter, you know, they might be on the whole younger and they might have less money to spend, but there were more of them that were very excited about our project.
Yeah, which Don't think we get, we still got about half an hour to go, and I don't think the artists have gotten a chance to talk.
Well, I
Nope.
actually wanted to ask you guys, as the artists, each of you, I was curious about what is your favorite part about drawing the characters that you draw for your particular project. Is there anything
Well,
that stands out
yeah.
for you?
I can tell my experience with Maeve that started. Um, it was a very unique character. You don't see that kind of character very much. I think I had a bit of a struggle drawing her at first. Now it's like a second child to me. It's not really a character I created, but I love her anyway.
Mhm. That's really cool. It's become your own. You've adopted the character almost. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's the
really
case
cool.
here.
Have you had a chance to draw Maeve in the adult form yet?
No, I have some ideas for her.
Really?
I have seen some of the entries for the contest too,
Nice.
and I'm really excited to draw that version of her.
Nice. Yeah, that'll be cool to see. um, well, yeah, Maeve is such an interesting character because I feel like so many people have connected with Maeve. You always see all this fan art and stuff, and it seems like people really there's something about Maeve that just people it just hits.
Yeah, she's a cute character. She has a lot to her. She's not just the she looks like a troubled character. Oh, she looks so god. No, she's really complete character. I love her. Her expressions. When I started drawing her, I started sketching a lot of expressions for her.
Yes. Yeah, I love that that's one thing about your art that I've always noticed too is it's very expressive. You did such a good job with the facial expressions and the emotion, bringing the emotions across, which I
Thank
think
you
is
very
really.
much.
You're welcome. Yeah, I think that's a really cool to see that. Um, and so maybe like I said, Maeve's a great character. So, and Ginger, what has your experience been like with Maeve?
Well, I think the first drawing of Maeve I did was I drew her as a pony.
Really?
Yeah, because I was drawing a bunch of these pony versions of indie comics
Mm-hmm.
characters.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw Josh the Amazing Animators drawing ponies, and I thought,
Nice.
wait a minute, I draw a lot of ponies. I'm gonna do that too. And so we had a bit of a not a competition between us, but like he would ponify someone and I would do the same. Then
Nice.
I would get to some other character before he did, and so on. And then uh, Brett commented on one of the things saying, "Oh, would you like to draw a banshee pony?" And I thought, "Huh, that would be fun." And then, of course, Josh drew a pony made first, and I thought, okay, that's an interesting design. And so I did that, and then
Wow.
I thought that character looks very unique, and ended up going on Brett's account to see more art of Maeve. There wasn't as much there then as there is now.
Mm.
I thought, okay, I'd be interested to see where this comic goes. And then he was looking for colorists, and I was like, I've never been a colorist on anything, but yeah, let's throw my hat into the ring.
Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah, you've done an incredible job with the book. So it's cool to see that you've taken to it so quickly.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, my background is games related. I've not worked in the industry, but I've got a bachelor's degree in computer games art.
Oh wow, that's cool. Yeah, that's I could see how that could influence coming into this medium as well.
Yeah, kind of more of a concept artist than
Mm,
anything to do with comics.
I see. Yeah.
And I love cartoons as well.
So
Uh,
sequential stuff is new for you.
Yeah, but just the story, the more Brett told me about it, the more interested I got. And now I'm very happy that I'm working on this project.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah, I think as Brett likes to point out, you guys, your art just is the perfect complement to each other. It just works out so well in this book. So it's gonna be really cool to see not only when this book, the first issue comes out, but the subsequent issues down the line, and to see how the comic evolves and unfolds.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
Especially if I get to do some concept art, which I've already done a bit of.
Yeah, I bet that would be right up your alley.
Oh yeah.
And Leandro, kind of going to Adobe for a second. What is your experience been like, and what are your favorite parts about drawing Adobe?
Well, everything about Adobe. I mean, Dan gave me a description about her, and the first thing I thought of was a young Nev Campbell. So it was this real strong character type with very headstrong, and as I drew the other characters, and it got me like, what the hell is a garden home? We don't have that here in the Philippines. I have to look it up. And start from there, from the characters. And when doing the pages, he just gave me the script and was like, okay, skyscrapers. All right, we can do that. We went from there.
I'm such an asshole putting so many skyscrapers in those.
You're like,
I enjoyed it, Dan. I mean, I've been meaning to try that kind of night sky kind of technique. I've seen that before in one of John Romita Jr.'s work in Spider-Man, so I just wanted to try that on this one.
Oh, I always go back to the joke where it takes me like 3 seconds to write. She's standing on a skyscraper. It takes you like 15 hours to draw that one panel. And you're sitting there saying, I hate him, I hate him.
It's usually the perspective lines that take the longest.
Yeah, well, absolutely nailed it.
So you have to go in with the all the different lines coming in from all the angles or whatever, so it all looks right. Or is that kind of what you're talking about there?
Yeah.
Really? Wow. That sounds. It's almost like you have to be an architect to do this kind of stuff in a way.
Oh yeah, I took up basic drafting before in high school, so that really helped.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I know that those buildings, that shot of the buildings is always one of the standout shots from issue 1 from Adobe Kroger. It's very striking.
Yeah, the first time I shared that piece, it blew up. People just absolutely flipped over Leandro's artwork, and who could blame them, right?
Oh, and that one of my favorite shots are in there too that I've seen is the shot of that gangster guy, and it just looks so menacing, and the tattoos are really cool, and it just very atmospheric.
Oh yeah, that's Mason. That's our baddie. I can't wait to
one thing
show you what he can actually do.
One thing I've always said is that even if people don't dig our books, the one thing they can't take away from us is that they look good.
Right.
And that's all on the artists, not us. So
yep.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, and Beth responded.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so she says that she likes Althea's no-nonsense posture, clothing, and that most people she draws are more flamboyant in their dress and movements. So it's a nice change for her.
That's cool. So it's like she's a nice change of pace from a lot of the things she's done, and the character design really appeals to her. It sounds like.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, she also designed her, so.
What's that?
She also designed her, so I certainly hope so.
Right? Yeah, that's true. That might be an issue there. She didn't like her own design, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think we've all fallen in love with the design of the characters. So that's something that's so cool about all 3 of your characters is they're very distinctive, and they all have very unique identities and personalities and looks to them. And I think that's not only I think it's a combination of both you guys as writers and creators, and you guys as artists as well, coming together to make that collaborative effort. You know.
Yeah,
Oh,
when you start to
definitely.
think about it, this was all a very organic process. Like by the time Leandro had completed the first couple of pages of Adobe Kroger, it wasn't even part of the Mythoverse yet. We had arrived at that decision after Leandro had completed those first couple of pages.
Really?
And we really didn't have to, I didn't have to change the story at all. And that's probably the most satisfying thing about it, is that the stories just fit together so well.
Nice. I see we have someone working on a little Maeve over there.
Oh, yeah. It's actually a selfie of a bunch of characters.
Nice. I saw the sketch of that shot, and so this is cool to see the progression on it.
Yeah.
Very nice. I love that shot. I think it's so fun.
Star Storyteller has a question I just want to address really quick. And it's in reference to the magic system in the Mythoverse.
Oh, cool.
Star Storyteller asks, Dan Sakura, when it's the right time to ask how much does Adobe have to eat to replace magic? Okay, that's in reference to the fact that when a paladin substantiates their magic, it burns calories. And if they burn too many calories, the magic starts to consume their bodies to the point where they can cause irreparable damage to themselves.
Damn.
Yeah. So the question is, there's no hard and fast rule. Like maybe she has to eat a full meal before she goes on a mission just to make sure. But oftentimes they carry emergency rations if they're in extended engagements. But the good thing is their consecrated gear, all that badass matrixy looking clothing you see her in on the cover. Each one of those little items of clothing is actually a separate piece of consecrated equipment that augments the paladin in a certain way. And if they are in full kit, they have less to worry about in terms of burning calories, because the clothes actually provide that protection without them having to burn their own energy. But
that's an interesting concept. I like that.
Yeah, I wanted to put a hard and fast limitation on how long they could go. So they can't just cast spells all day and all night. It actually is dangerous to go on doing so. So I would say, like for a standard raid mission like she's going on now, probably just a nice hearty meal will do the trick.
So Adobe Kroger has to remember to eat her breakfast. It literally is the most important meal of the day.
Yeah, she has to. She has to. I mean, yeah, she could lose muscle mass permanently as the magic consumes her.
Wow. Now is that all? Because I know you have you've hinted at multiple magic systems. Is this specifically for Adobe? What she is as a what is she again? A knight errant, or
she's a paladin.
Paladin, right?
Yeah,
paladin. So is that specific to the paladins, or will that apply to other stuff such as Fae as well?
Specifically to the paladins, because they gain their power in a different way.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I like that. I always thought that was an interesting concept with having, because I like the idea of having multiple magic systems and kind of different branching ideas. It just makes the world more rich, it seems.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that way, it's really fun to, especially in the novel where she does not have any equipment at all. She's essentially fighting in t-shirt and pants the entire time. So it's like Black Widow on laundry day. All of a sudden, she has no gear, no contacts, nothing. So the concept of consuming her own body, which is called blunting in the universe, is an ever-present danger because she does not have any assistance from any equipment.
But it's something that she has to risk sometimes if
Yeah, sometimes she has no choice, and so she's in a catch-22.
Yeah, that's tricky. So I know I believe a few of you mentioned whether this was your first campaign or not for the artists. But as artists, what has it been like working on a crowdfunded comic like this?
Silence. Who wants to go first?
What's it like working on a crowdfunded comic like this? It's stressful. I mean, especially in an all or nothing approach. Like, you never know if all your hard work is going to pay off or not. But in the end, it's actually kind of more exciting that way. Because if you get funded all in one day, it's like, oh, I can just take the rest of the month off, right? In this case, it was like we really felt like every last advance was earned and was ours. We didn't have a lot of support from a lot of larger names, with the exception of Brett Smith, who's a real stand-up guy and a real pro. He's the artist who colored Dobie Kroger's cover, and if I'm lucky, the interiors later. But aside from that, yeah, we moved forward every day a little bit at a time. Some days we didn't move at all. Like I would be watching the campaign all day and it wouldn't budge. This was more towards the center of the campaign, and there are moments where it would have been perfectly reasonable to assume that we won't pass like $3,000. That'll be where we stop, you know. And yeah, you just that mindset is inevitable, especially when you just don't see the numbers going up. But you have to treat every single day as another opportunity to make the numbers move, regardless of whether or not they move the previous day. Otherwise, they will stop moving.
It really did feel like it was touch and go in a few places.
Yeah, there were times where I was literally in the Slack channel saying, okay, guys, let's make plans if this doesn't fund. Like, what timeline are we looking at? And like, how can we still make this happen with all 3 of our books coming out within a reasonable amount of time if we do not make this funding? Because the whole purpose of this campaign was to expedite the production of the books, like so that we can more easily pay our team, because they're the ones who are going to make this thing sell, make this thing sing.
Yeah.
So they're our priority.
Yeah,
So,
that's kind of that's just one thing we got to put out. This whole campaign was predicated on getting the artists paid. We're not Matt, Dan, and I aren't going to take a cent from this.
oh no! In fact, I probably will end up losing money. And I'm fine with that. I mean, you got to spend dough to make dough. I mean, I spent money on ads. I spent the equivalent of a second full-time job pushing it. And I'm fine with that. I knew that going in. I wasn't going to make any money off this because all the funds were going right back into the books. And but, you know, this is how things get started. You know, you got to underconsume, you got to sacrifice, and you got to think long term. So this was just phase 1 for us.
It's a true work of passion for you, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would have been perfectly happy to just get even Brett and Matt's books funded. And I would have been happy to just eat the rest and fund the rest of Adobe out of my own pocket, because I just wanted to make sure that we would all get our books out at the same time.
Right. Speaking of which, you know, now that you guys have reached your goal and you're wrapping up the campaign today, what kind of is the plan forward for production-wise in terms of when you estimate to get them out? Well,
once the campaign closes, I got to send out the backer surveys so I can have everyone's shipping information and hoodie sizes. That's step 1. Step 2, we each put a sort of a general deadline of September for all the books to be complete. Mm-hmm. And I think now that we can pay the artists in full, that's not unreasonable. I think does Ginger have a situation, Ginger, where you're able to have unfettered access to the resources you need? I knew that was a problem in the past.
Yeah, I actually got a new laptop.
Oh, that's good news.
Thanks to Sportman, actually.
Sportman, the man.
Nice.
A true hero.
A true hero among sports.
Right. Well, that's great. So yeah. Now that we have the means to pay the artists in full for their work, I don't think that's an unreasonable deadline to set.
Yeah. So, Victor, Ginger, you guys ready to get to work full speed?
Well,
Why we put him on the spot?
we have a very good pace right now.
That's a good answer.
Don't worry, you guys got till September to get done.
Well, that's so cool. Yeah.
So Beth answered, and she said that she's worked on a number of them, and she says that it's hard to be sure how much you plug it because you don't want to annoy people, but it's also great to see how excited fans can get. And it's something that I can echo as well, because it is fun seeing all the fans get excited about it, people tweeting about it, and all that. So it's not all stress 24/7.
There's a lot of fun with it as well.
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh, hey, we got a couple things in the chat. Zeno is asking, who would you cast as your main characters in a movie? And he says, let's go with adult maybe, so it doesn't have to be a newcomer.
Nice, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's always a fun question. I always like hearing the speculation on. And all right, Leandro, Ginger, and Victor, if you guys have some ideas on that as well, feel free to let us know. I'm always curious about this one.
Well,
I'll
Zeno
go-
knows I'm face blind, so I can't tell actors apart.
Oh, really? Yeah, I had a friend who had a similar it was a similar issue with that, and yeah, he was always telling me about how that was a problem with him. So yeah, I could totally see that. But do you like in terms of actors, do you find that you kind of gravitate more towards their voice then in that sense?
I generally gravitate more towards cartoons than live action.
Oh, nice. So are you big in cartoons or anime or anything like that?
Cartoons, Western
Nice.
cartoons.
Very
With
cool.
live action stuff, it's hair is a big part of it. Hair, voice. If hair changes, then
Then they really throws you off. Yeah, totally. But Victor, what about you? Have you ever thought about what you could see in terms of actors?
I think I actually got one. I think
Oh yeah.
a little bit old, but could probably work. Elizabeth Olsen.
I'm not familiar with her. You mind if I'm gonna pull her up real quick?
She's Scarlet Witch.
Ah, that's all you had to say.
Yeah, and I think she might actually be a blonde.
Oh no.
Well, Beth says that she can see Natalie Portman as Althea.
Oh, okay.
I can see that.
Yeah, she's got the form and together demeanor.
True, yeah. Very and it can get pretty serious when the time is right.
Yep.
From where I sit, ever since I saw Kristen Ritter in Breaking Bad, I wanted her to play Adobe. She plays Jessica Jones. And if I could time travel, Ali Sheedy from The Breakfast Club would be a good one.
We just basically tapped Marvel actresses. Does anyone else realize that?
Hey man, they know how to choose. That's one. You can say everything you want about the movies, but they know how to choose good actors. That's for sure. They're like, hey, that guy's amazing. Let's go grab him.
Well, personally, if the live action adaptation happens and Natalie Portman's too old for it, I could definitely see Daisy Ridley.
Interesting choice, yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna try to see what you guys keep going. I'm gonna look because, like I said, the only problem with Elizabeth Olsen is she's 30 right now. She's like,
yeah, Kristen Ritter is 37, and Adobe in her story is in her early 20s. So I don't know how well that would work, but they have digital de-aging and all that. So
true. Yeah, I mean that's now the new craze.
And again, Hollywood casts 20-somethings as high schoolers all the time.
And Ant-Man, Paul Rudd is 50, so he looks
Oh,
good.
speaking of Paul Rudd, what about Wet Hot American Summer? They're like 50 and they're playing high schoolers.
God, that movie is my favorite exchange ever. The whole Paul Rudd and his girlfriend, and he just for no reason whatsoever smacks her and says "F you," like just out of nowhere, completely out of context. I'm just
that
like,
relationship is crazy, man.
yeah.
Great series, movie, all the whole thing. If you haven't had a chance to go see that one, check it out. Yeah, I mean, getting back to the Mythoverse and all. I mean, those are some good choices. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see, who would play them. But yeah, I don't know if I have anyone off the top of my head necessarily either.
Yeah, I have a very specific look in mind for Adobe, so I would be very picky.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was about to also suggest Kristen Bell. She's even older. She's 38.
Didn't someone suggest Mila Jovovich for Adobe at some point?
If she was younger, sure. I mean, I love Mila in The Fifth Element and all those movies. I mean, for the longest time, she was a pretty big crush of mine.
Zeno says Alicia Denham Carey is younger than Elizabeth Olsen, but looks very similar.
Interesting.
Blind Artist 93 is suggesting Kate Beckinsale.
Now, do we have another question in the chat? I thought you mentioned there was a couple questions.
Oh yeah, hold on, let me go up a little. I'm gonna miss it. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, Blind Artist 93. So after these first releases, what's next for all you? Starting art on issue 2 for each of these amazing characters, or take a break for a few months? Have we even thought that far ahead?
Yeah, I mean, I have issue 2 roughly scripted out. I had to put some changes into it because I wanted to work in a way to thank our friend Tank for his tireless memeing and promotion of our book. So I rewrote a big battle scene to include sort of like an homage to his work that I think he would be able to catch, but no one else. But it's a little thank you to him.
I think I gotta. Oh yeah, if we're talking about that, I gotta rewrite the second issue of Changeling because it's way too long. It's it's something like 40 pages, and I gotta cut that in half.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep each issue of Adobe to about 24 pages. You know.
Yeah, I'm okay with putting out the first issue with about 30 or so pages because, hey, make a big first impression. Actually, that's not a bad idea, but yeah, it's just 40 pages. That's that's excessive. The only problem I've got right now is I can't figure out what I can cut without messing up the story, and I'm actually kind of worried I might have to just rewrite it from the ground up.
Well, maybe set some events to happen later.
It's very true. Yeah, who knows what you know.
We'll figure that out.
Or you could probably just take some scenes out and then make a trade later on called the Lost Stories.
Maybe.
Nice.
I'm gonna pass it around to some editor friends, see what we can do.
Well, that sounds cool. Yeah.
Well, in my case, I prefer to read a bigger comic. 30 pages or so is great. Sometimes you see, well, in my case, I'm more of a manga reader. Reading chapters with only 20 pages sometimes feels like it's a bit short, and you get wanting more, and there's no more.
Yeah, you're probably. I can see that, man, but it's also like bigger books cost more money. It's not. I'm not just talking for me. I'm not just talking for me. It's also more it's more for the consumers, just because if a 40-page book, people are gonna have to pay more money for that. I don't want to push it to the $5 limit. I want to keep this thing as affordable as I can.
That's true, but on the counter side, when you do have a lot of pages in a say for manga, for example, and they pack it in, that you don't necessarily get a release as often. So you might not get a release necessarily every month or so, but you'll get more to hold you over until the next release. So I feel it's a kind of a balance almost.
Yeah, no, it's there's unless you're working for one of the big two, there's no right way to do this.
That's true. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, I think if you're working with Marvel or DC, they say you gotta keep it to this to 20 pages or something.
Yeah, I could see that being very stringent over there.
Yeah, I try to keep it multiples of 4 for the printer because of the fact that you print front and back. So between the covers, you have 4 pages for the cover, for the front and back, and then 24 pages. So you end up with 28 pages to print. It's a multiple of 4. It works great. Duskquill asked, "Hey Dan Sacker, we're still cool with our thing, right?" I assume you're talking about that thing that we're doing. That thing. If that's the case, then yes. As far as I understand it, yes.
That's only just a little bit vague.
Just a little bit, yeah. I don't want to talk too much about it.
I feel that. Yeah, totally. But we're getting closer to the end of our hour here. The artists, is there anything you guys would like to say about your projects or to the fans out there who've backed your project?
Yeah, how about you guys go first?
Oh, I can't wait to have first issue done. What we've seen so far is just the establishing shots of Adobe, so get ready for some bloody action.
Oh, nice.
Oh yes, I've indicated in past streams that's one of my specific actions, directions was make it a bloody mess.
I'm sure Leandra's going to deliver on that tenfold.
I have no doubt at all.
I've been working on the page layouts for the half of the book for the past week.
I
Really?
cannot wait to see them.
Oh man, that's gonna be awesome. And sorry, go ahead. Oh,
I
man.
can't wait to let people see the story we're working on. I really want people to meet Maeve and to get to understand her. I really think our characters have a lot of well, passion on them.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. I think people are gonna be really excited when they meet Maeve and see all the passion that you guys have put into it as well. You know, I think that if that passion in her character is all because of you guys as creators and artists, putting that into her. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I think sorry, I think people are gonna love Maeve because well, what drew me in is that when I was in school, I was kind of the goth kid, and I just saw Maeve, thought, okay, so she's wearing dark clothing, and she's got that eyeliner thing going on. Okay, cool, I'm invested. But once I got to know the character more, she's like a little sister. I love her. So I think all the readers are gonna love her as well. We're gonna have, we already have a fan base pretty much, and it's only
Wow.
gonna get stronger. It's exciting.
That is so cool to hear that you guys. I really like hearing you guys talk about your characters like that. That's really inspiring to hear.
Now, Victor, Ginger, you guys want to hear something really awesome?
Yep.
We've actually got someone who wants to cosplay as Maeve.
Oh.
Yeah, we also. Oh yeah, we got someone who wants to cosplay Elfie as well, so it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's Raven Monroe. She's she's on Twitter at Raven underscore M underscore hold on, let me pull up underscore illustration. I think it's abbreviated illustration. It stops at the U, but yeah, she's actually said she would cosplay as Maeve in a heartbeat. She's down in San Diego, and next year I plan on getting a selfie with her.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she weird. It'll be awesome to. That's gonna be one of the best moments in my life. Is being able to do that.
Man. So we've talked to you guys for the last hour about your project, and it's just amazing that you guys have gotten to this success. So I just wanted to ask you guys as the creators, what is something that you want to say to all those people who helped get you to this point and make this a reality for you?
It's been endlessly gratifying to see the enthusiasm and the support for a project that quite literally is starting from nothing, from zero, from scratch. And speaking frankly, the only thing you have to go on is some artwork, and that alone, that you've been drawn in to want to learn more about these characters that we've created is a wonderful feeling. And I cannot wait to justify that feeling by giving you all some incredible books that you're going to want to keep and read and share and maybe show your kids, in the case of Changeling, but not in the case of Adobe Kroger, please. But yeah, it's just seeing the campaign go over the goal after this month, which has really worn us all down. I'm working about like half the sleep I normally get because I'm constantly thinking about the campaign, and I get up in the middle of the night to check it. It's kind of been a crazy month, but to see it all come to fruition, thanks to everyone sharing it, thanks to people coming up with memes, thanks to people telling their friends about it, and just showing all that support, whether it's monetary or with a retweet or anything. It's been a wonderful experience. And thank you so much. It's once in a lifetime that you get to see something like this start from nothing and grow into a potential project that will obviously have legs and will grow. It's not something you get to experience all the time. So thank you for the opportunity.
I definitely echo that sentiment as well. If we wouldn't be here right now if it weren't for the people backing us.
Yeah, and I just want to end on just thanking a few individuals. Clay, you were our first backer, and you've been passionate through the whole month. Cody, Chuck, you guys always been there for us. We're glad you guys you donated. Brian, Vamp, Tet, you guys pushed us over the edge when we needed it in certain places. We fucking owe you for that.
Midori Sith Posts, I don't know what your real name is, but you've been such a huge supporter, retweeting us and boosting us, and it's not gone unnoticed.
Hey, Brian's in the chat right now. But yeah, it's like, I'm fucking overwhelmed. I just like, I don't.
Brian, the whitest guy in comics.
Oh boy.
It's the reason why he's the other guy at his own book.
Yeah, it's just like, I just don't know what to say. It's just like, you told me I've been doing this shit 10 years ago. I wouldn't have believed you.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I think if we would have told you it would have succeeded 3 months ago, you wouldn't have believed us. How's it feel, man? Let it all out.
Yeah, it's just like yeah. Oh fuck! I gotta give Lenore thanks too. It's not just for the logo. She's a great friend too, and Antonella. I love the art she does for the Mytho Chibis, and she's also a great friend too. It's just like, I mean, I thanked as many people as I could in my thread on Twitter. It's just like, I'm overwhelmed.
Hey, it's Wikid's first crowdfunding success. Jeremy Lott.
On
the first try.
Nice.
Guys, I am so darn proud of you. Congratulations. It's a monumental achievement. You worked your asses off. You absolutely deserve this and so much more.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to read your book. So hurry up and finish it.
Yeah, I just won the money today. So
thank you.
Oh, and speaking of Lenore, she's going to be opening a crowdfund for her first art book. So please make sure you show her some love. I know I will.
She was thinking of doing that today. Is that still the thing?
I don't know. I would hope that she would let us know when it goes. I mean, I'm following it on Indiegogo, so I'll get a notification. But regardless, I'm going to hop on there, and I hope everyone else does too. She's a great girl. She's talented. She's a sweet person, and she definitely deserves the success.
Darn right.
Nice. Well, we're pretty much at the end of our hour here. So, is there anywhere that you guys people can follow your adventures online?
Well, yeah, just follow us on our respective Twitters. I'm at Molly_Beans. That's a reference to my webcomic, which will be coming off hiatus in the next couple of weeks now that this campaign is done. And guys, go ahead.
You can follow me at Celtic Brett on Twitter.
You change your handle?
It was on the advice of a friend. Her name's Smug. She said you should probably change your account to something catchier and easier to remember.
I like it.
Yep. Mr. Matt.
You can catch me on Twitter at Matt Trin. It's simple. That's my name.
And we also have the @Mythoverse Twitter That's where we tend to post art that's posted on our Instagram. It's automatically set to post there.
Okay, artist, your turn.
I'm that crafty foxy on Twitter.
I'm Leandro NR on Twitter.
Vector.
I'm a bit unsure on this since most of my work is not safe for work.
That's all right. That's all right. I think that's fine. That's fine.
In your drawing all ages book.
You can find me as Campan B on Twitter.
Cool.
Perfect. Well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. This was an awesome chat with all you guys, artists from artists to creators. And again, just huge congratulations on your success with the campaign. I can't wait to see what you guys do with these books. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you to our artists. They're the ones who sold it.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Leandro. It's been an absolute
this-
pleasure and privilege to work with you.
Yeah, this changeling would not be what it is without Victor and Ginger.
Wow.
PSS Mythics wouldn't be the same without Beth, who unfortunately could not make it today.
That's right. Yeah, it's your artists are is really something that it's amazing that you guys have been come together like this and been able to create a shared comic universe that so many people have connected with. I think that's something you guys should be again really proud of. So,
I am. I'm gonna go drink now.
you earned it. You definitely earned it.
Go get celebration on, fellas. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
That's right, man. That's exactly right.
I'm gonna go. I need breakfast.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you guys next time, and everyone in the chat, stick around for our next segment.
Thank you.
Bye.
Welcome, Cody and Jeremy.
What's the fox thing?
I'm sorry.
There's a fox thing I'm seeing here.
Oh boy, is it a?
It's my avatar.
Oh, oh, that's funny. Now,
Looks like Doug Curtis just joined.
Okay, cool.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Finally,
Oh my
Jeremy.
God! Yes, yes.
We can finally talk to each other.
I realized that one of the big problems with that I was having was I was trying to use Safari to do the Google Chats thing, and it just wasn't working. And so I finally said, well, what if I use Google's own browser to do this? And yeah, it works.
Right. Yeah, when I get that link, it keeps wanting to put me into Internet Explorer. And it's like, I don't want to use Internet Explorer, but it doesn't seem to be any other way for me. I don't know.
I don't know. Weird.
Yeah, and I've got a Google account. You think it would put me on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
maybe Bill Gates paid him off or something.
There you go.
Well, thanks for joining us, Doug and Jeremy and Cody as well. I appreciate it. You guys coming on. This is the first time that we've had Doug onto the podcast since this is our first artist edition, so it's cool to finally get to talk to you.
Yeah, great to be here.
Awesome, man. So first of all, you guys were working on Movie Men together. How did you first start working together as a creator and artist?
Well, we're part of quite a few different overlapping Facebook groups, and I really liked Doug's art, and I just approached him and said, would you be willing to work with me? And he said, okay. And I had him do some designs for Movie Men, and they were great. And so then I gave him a script, and we went from there.
Nice.
Yeah, it was kind of fun to collaborate with somebody. I've done it before, but this was especially kind of special. I just really enjoyed working on this one.
And we have. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you talk.
I was going to say we also, we talked in the first segment a lot about the success of the Mythiverse, but we can't ignore that you guys have also reached your success. You guys have recently reached your goal as well.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and you're still 7 days to go left to go.
Yeah,
there's still room to grow.
We'll do.
What are you guys at right now? Overall,
a little over 2,000. I think it's maybe 2,100. Let's see, not quite 2,100 is my guess.
I'm bringing it up right now. Let's see. There we go.
I actually gave my first refund yesterday.
Oh, huh. How strange.
Well, no, it was there's a guy. So if you look at how it's made up, you can get the PDF or you can get the physical, but it doesn't have both unless you're in a very high tier. And so, but the reason for that was just that, PDF is included for people who, just don't have a lot of money, or people who are overseas and don't want to pay crazy amounts of shipping, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, but then when I have a thing that's called all in, I'm like, well, of course we're going to include the PDF if it's everything, right? But I never intended people to have to pay for the physical comic and the PDF as well. And so somebody had backed the comic plus a couple of pinups, and then he also backed it at the PDF level. And I just wrote to him and I said, look, if this isn't offensive to you, I'm just going to give you a refund and I'll send you the PDF, when you send that out. And he said, okay, cool. So,
nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. So he wanted to have both options.
Yeah, he actually said that he wanted to keep his copy pristine, and that's why he wanted the PDF. So it's like, okay, that's cool.
Nice, a collector.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You like those collectors?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Now,
Doug has been at this for so long. You first started your flying ferret thing in 1996, right?
Yep, the birth of my daughter.
Yeah.
Wow.
Birth of flying ferret, birth of my daughter.
That's pretty amazing. So what's it been like to work on it for so long?
Frustrating but fun too, because
Really?
because I never made money at it. I get that's not true. I did take some to a convention and made a little bit money, some printed copies. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that. It's but it's tough in getting those characters out there. But when you love them so much, I'm sure as we all do, we feel compelled to kind of create. So it's a tough game for sure.
Right.
But it's cool to see that you guys are making success with this series right now. Do you guys have plans for future Movie Men?
Well, yeah, we actually the next thing is going to be a Wicked team up, because it's going to be Movie Men meet Sporkman.
Oh man,
I'm
the first
excited for
Wicked
that
team
one.
up. Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I like Sporkman. I like spoof comics and I like parodies, and Sporkman's just right in that venue there. So I'm just kind of looking forward to working with that.
Nice. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting team up there.
Yeah, and I don't know if they'll. I've given them permission then to use Movie Men in an issue as well. They may do that at some point.
Nice. So, Doug, will you be working as the artist on that crossover issue then?
I believe so. Maybe
Very
I'm not
cool.
privy to that.
Yeah. Yes. 110% yes.
Okay, cool. I figured since I made that little pin up that I was.
No, yeah, I was gonna say, because I feel like that would be so awesome to see Sporkman jump into the Movie Men world. So, that'll be really cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's this is the Movie Man is the first comic I ever wrote. Doug's an old pro, but and I got to the end, and I won't spoil it for anyone, but I didn't think of it as a cliffhanger by any means. But then quite a few people who read it thought of it that way. And so I said, well, crap, what do I do?
Well, that's what I was thinking you were angling at too. It's like, yeah, well, this can keep going. So
there's a movie called Haywire that kind of ends in a similar way to how I ended this comic. And I just thought it was like kind of an end scene thing. And that's not how a lot of people viewed it. So I was talking to the sport guys, and I just got this idea in my head, and just proposed it to them, and they were open to it. So yay!
Sweet. Yeah.
No, that's great. Yeah. Now, we also have Cody with us today. How's it going, Cody?
That's going pretty well. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Coming through.
All right. Well, good. Right on. Pleasure to meet you, Doug.
Yeah, you too.
So,
thank you.
We'll have to get your artist on sometime, Jack. I mean, geez,
I would love to. I don't know how feasible it would be.
Really?
But, yeah, it's gonna be tough. Right now, he's he's in country, which would be a first
Ideal.
step. But he ain't in country for much longer, and I don't think he has the greatest access to this kind of stuff. But I'd love to.
Maybe
honestly, he's a
maybe
very
some
sweet
sort of-
man, and I would like people to meet him.
I wonder if we could do some sort, set up some sort of pre-recorded thing we could do maybe.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah,
maybe
that'd be good to talk about that
tonight
later.
after the other talk. That would
Yeah.
be good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. But yeah, I guess I'll vent a little bit about or vamp, I guess, a little bit about Ironverse Comics and where we are at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Just I don't have much to say on the art end. I mean, I could talk about my cruddy concept art when I first started Jack.
Hey, we got to bring that up at some point, man.
Well, I guess I could talk about the any processes I noticed and some things. But anywho, issue number 2 is readable. It's done, it's edited, and now we just are waiting to add the extras into the back and kind of finalize the actual book bit for printing and such. But issue 2 is done. We finally crossed that finish line, and I'm super excited to get it to folks. I'm really proud of the work our team did on it, and I really want to know what people actually think about my writing. If it kept up with the art or if it drags it down, I want to know. So I'm looking forward to that, to it getting out. We also just put out Cactus Coyote's manga a couple weeks back. That's been getting actually a decent reception, which I've been really happy to see. It's free to read online at Tapas. Just look up the shiftiest and shadiest Cactus Coyote, and I'm sure you guys will find it. So yeah, it's been fun. This week's been a big. It's been a wicked week. A lot of killer things have happened, and I'm stoked to be part of it.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys are ramping it up.
I finished my issue, yeah, and it's cool. I'm glad we've got some more forward momentum again. I'm impressed, especially running into the summer. I think that's going to be a hell of a benefit for any hype trains that are going to be rolling come that time.
Right, because you guys have that coming up, don't you?
Well, we have 2 options, and I'm thinking we're going to do option B before what people would expect us to do.
Interesting.
And we're going to see how that goes. I'm really excited. I also, that's another thing we'll be talking about later. But there are some fun plans on the way, and I'm really excited I know the Mythverse crew, they just ran the marathon, so they're ready to sit down and take a break. I've been sitting and just stewing and waiting to get back into that game. So I'm excited to get back to the crowdfunding game. That's where I feel most useful. So I am excited.
Well, I'm glad some people like
that.
It'll
be this summer. It'll be this summer. You guys will see something from Ironverse Comics, one way or the other. If it's Jack 3, it's Jack 3. If it's something else, well, you folks will see.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. So you guys have both now successfully had crowdfunding campaigns. What does it feel like to be in a post crowdfunding atmosphere?
When I wrote books, right? I mean, I've had books published by Thomas Nelson, and when you finished a book, it just felt like this huge weight lifted off of your shoulders, and you could fly. And that's what it felt like when we finally got funded as well.
Really?
Yeah.
It's kind of that relief.
Sounds like a great feeling.
Yeah.
Like, whoo.
To me, it feels like a big whirlwind. I've got all these other things going on, and it feels like Jeremy's kind of carrying the weight here of crowdfunding. Me, I would just be anxious all the time trying to deal with something like that with the crowdfunding. I'd be on pins and needles. I'd try to help in small ways with retweeting and stuff and like that. But Jeremy, I really got to hand it to him for the work that he's done and doing all that Facebook, doing the busting updates and pretty clever.
Yeah, you were always hitting it hard. That's for sure.
I didn't hit it as hard as the Mythoverse guys. I'll just say that.
Hey man, I'm not sure many have. They were really gunning for it.
Yeah.
And then Cody, how about you? How's it been like for you in this post campaign environment?
Well, like I was saying, on the production side, that keeps me busy and involved, and there's always speed bumps and adaptations, so that keeps me interested. But honestly, I know during it, I there's so much reward when you're successful during crowdfunding. Just when you're talking to somebody and you make a sale, I miss that very much. So in the post crowdfunding, that's something I do miss. I miss the leverage and the being able to leverage the hype into sales. That's infinitely rewarding to me. But other than that, I'm really it's been a trip, and like I said earlier, I'm looking forward to diving back into it. It's been also a trip seeing the shift in the environment from when I crowdfunded last year to this year's environment. There's a very different feeling overall. It's not worse and it's not better, which kind of sucks. But it's different. It's different, and I think it's always going to be shifting like that. So. Again, I'm looking forward to diving in the pool and see if I can swim in this changed in the changed shape of it.
Yeah, you'll find it slightly more crowded.
Yeah, that's a big part of it for sure. I've noticed that a lot. I happened to hop in at the right time last year to go from 0 to 60 faster than most, and I don't think I could repeat that same thing this year. My hope is to not repeat hitting it because I don't need to. Luckily, I don't need to go from 0 again. But
right, yeah, you're already
at
pretty good speed here.
Yeah, it's my hope, and I want to see how much issue 2 affects that. There's a lot issue 2's release is kind of gonna tell me for any kind of future funding and how to approach things. Once it's out and we get our reviews, I'll have abilities to leverage them for good or bad, and figure out how to take our next steps. And that'll be that interests me. It'll keep me entertained, and we'll see how far I can continue to leverage this.
Yeah. One thing that I was a little slow to pick up on was that, so because Movie Men was essentially done when we launched our campaign, is that, hey, I can get advanced reviews. And I think I missed a week and a half where I didn't send them out for advanced reviews. And at some point I had one of these like facepalm moments, of like, what am I doing?
Another thing I kind of noticed and I just kind of picked up on here was that a lot of people like in progress stuff, and since we had Movie Men done already, it's like I'm not doing any in progress stuff, and some people seem to kind of like that. I think when we do this again, I'm going to do more in progress type things to kind of generate interest.
That's really smart. Yeah.
It helped. There were some things we were able to get out there, like we were able to get out your great art for the Movie Men Sportman team up, things like that. But you want to constantly be throwing things people haven't seen yet to generate interest.
Yeah, very
wise.
wise.
Makes sense. Yeah, kind of build that hype.
Yep.
Now, would you guys going into your next campaign? Do you think you would? Do you guys think you feel like you've learned things that you can do better, or change things that you might do differently next time?
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that the Mythoverse guys did brilliantly was they sort of started a hype train early before the campaign started, whereas my campaign just started, and hey, here we go. And I did that for a reason, but because I wanted to see if I could make that work, and it has. But I want to do a lot more pre-work next time.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Plus, I wasn't used to the Indiegogo interface at all. Now I know what I'm doing, so that's a plus.
Yeah, you had your Safari fights.
Oh,
oh boy, that doesn't sound fun.
Well, yeah, the Safari is a garbage browser. No one get it. It's horrible. It's I know it comes preloaded with your Mac, but go for Chrome.
Oh yeah, always go for Chrome.
Well, I've always looked at it as Safari is basically the Internet Explorer of Mac.
Yeah, that's what I discovered. Did not realize that going on.
That's funny. Now, Cody, how about you? What kind of things have you kind of learned and taken from your first campaign that you might bring or change to the next one?
Well, anybody familiar with our campaign knows it was more adaptational than most. There were a lot of rules and exceptions and ways we had to adapt to get where we got and where we're still going. So basically, I've learned a lot of ways to avoid all those adaptations we had to make. Basically, that's the first bit. The next campaign that we run is going to be we're going to have the numbers we need. For one, I ran blind basically into issue 1 and 2 with how much I really needed. I had budgeted enough to pay Maxi for issue 2's lines at a rate that we had agreed upon about 4 months before. So there's a lot that could have been handled differently, but honestly, it's just going to be more professional. A lot of the things that the fast and loose nature of it, that's going to be locked down. I wouldn't really have, myself personally, I wouldn't have backed a campaign like that unless I really believed in the creator and the work. So I think most people who did back us had that same belief. But I think we can get more if it feels more guaranteed to people and more laid out better. Like with you guys, we got publishing only partway through my second try for Jack 1 and 2. You guys saw it and took interest, and once that was able to be done, I could. People are way more interested in the physical copies. If you don't offer physical, you better be able to market yourself exceedingly well. I don't know how else you can get just a digital off, but that, for instance, caused an issue because I wasn't offering physical copies when I started. This time I can, and in fact, we have 2 other issues. We'll have 2 other issues done and ready to offer for a follow-up campaign. There's a lot that's going to be able. The first campaign, again, shot in the dark. The second one, we're going to see the target, we're going to aim at it, and then we're going to shoot.
A little more prepared.
That's the main thing that's gonna be changed. Honestly. And, I mean, I don't want to discourage anybody from just taking a shot in the
I was
dark.
gonna say, man, that's right, because there's nothing against firing from the hip, that works too.
No, if you've got to shoot, you've got to try.
That's right, man.
What got me there. Last
So
time,
what he's saying is at least aim before shoot.
If you can. At my time last year, I wasn't in a mental or any kind of position to really think things through before I acted. But it worked out. So I don't want people to feel discouraged either. Do you work the best you can, however you need it done.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of campaigners, a lot of professionals out there who will tell you this is the way. And if you read Jack Irons #2, I have a very strong opinion on anybody saying there's no other way for something.
Nice.
I actually wrote that into there.
That's cool.
But yeah, just manifest your own magic. Get your own work out there however you can. There's going to be a lot to learn from other people, but at the end of the day, you're walking your own path, and don't let people try and say that it's the wrong path if you believe in it.
Well, Mike Tyson says that everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, no in life, that's pretty common that you get punched in the face.
Oh man. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting place to be in with you, where you guys are at right now. As you guys kind of, Jeremy, you heading into the end of your campaign, and Cody, you're right in the middle of production right now.
No, we're well, yeah, basically.
Well, I guess not anymore.
I would say we're 3/4 of the way.
3/4? Pretty close.
Yeah, I would say about 3/4 of the way, because now we're just on to compiling the extras and printing and shipping.
Yeah.
So we're
nitty-gritty stuff.
right there. We're right fucking there, and I'm so excited to get this damn book out. So,
do you have an estimate on that you want to share yet, or are you playing close to chest in terms of when you think people might start getting those in their hands?
God, my hope, guys, Maxi leaves the country on the 10th, and I really want to get him his copies of the books before he goes, because Argentina, it's postal system. If we tried to send books after, he has to travel to a big city and stand in a line for about 2 or 3 hours, and that's if the books are even there when he went. So
Really?
it's hard, but we'll see what we can do. That would be the best thing would be that's kind of when I would hope we could start. But again, I don't know. You guys and I will try and hammer something more a better estimate tonight probably. But next month would be the general hope. Sometime next month these are getting shipped out. I think that would be the worst case is the end of next month. We'll see.
Yes, yeah, that'd be nice for people to get those in their hands. I know people are super excited about it, and and people. Let's see, because most everyone has their issue 1s already. So yeah, most people are just going to be grabbing their issue 2s.
Yeah, there's only about 25 international backers we're going to have to hit, so it wasn't as bad as I thought.
Stuff.
So I am looking forward to getting those out too.
Oh yeah,
they've waited a year.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say.
Well, it's 9 months if you take it from when I had the money to actually start producing, but it's a year if you took it when I started the campaign. So however people are judging it, I'm taking the worst estimate just because that's, if you take it from the worst, you can only do better. So
hey, that's
so yeah, they've been waiting exceedingly patiently. There's quite a few too, in particular Josh the Amazing Animator who put quite a few bucks into this, and they've been sweethearts. I've gotten only 2 complaints on how long it's taking, and it wasn't even a complaint. They just wanted to know where we were at because they didn't follow the updates on the campaign. That's really common for people who back a lot of campaigns, and that's another thing I hope to avoid. Since Jack's campaign was so loosey-goosey, it made communicating to backers that much more important, and a lot of backers just want to fire and forget and then get their books. And those who didn't get them right away, of course, are going to be very curious if they haven't been paying attention. So the goal is you can fire and forget with this next campaign also. that would be something to definitely improve on.
Yeah. Cody, do you now or have you ever worked in sales?
No.
You do very, very good at it.
I get
okay.
Well, I worked in sales for about the last year.
Okay.
That's about it. But
what was that, Cody?
What
was that, Cody?
Oh, I said I've worked in sales for about a year, but no, I started with none of that experience. I don't like dealing with people.
Could have fooled me.
Yeah. Well, when I got to, you gotta make it as smooth and pleasurable for everybody involved as possible. So that's what I try and do when I go into any kind of communication with another person. So I hope that helps. Thank you. I hope I can continue doing that because that's how I'm going to keep our comics afloat. So taking a little confidence out of that. I appreciate it.
Well, whatever you're doing it right.
So far, maybe. Again, with issue 2's release, that'll tell me. I want to know if my writing can keep up with the art. I think the Ironverse can stick around for a while, but I need more readers to tell me that.
Yeah, you guys have a lot planned for the Ironverse, so a lot to look forward to.
Yes, indeed.
So, Doug, I wanted to talk to you and ask you a little bit about what was it like for you? Like, what are some of your favorite aspects of drawing the movie main characters? And was a collaborative effort on how their appearances came across?
Jeremy's descriptions were very specific, and he knew what he wanted. And I could imagine what he wanted. And, it seemed like it was pretty easy to come up with them and see them, because kind of seeing these almost some of these people I've seen them before. I could see them in my head. They're like people that existed. So it came out very, very quick and very easy. So they were very relatable, and who they were and everything.
Nice. So you almost like his descriptions where they fleshed the characters out enough that you actually could see them as real, and go from there. Yep. That's
Definitely.
cool. Yeah. I think the designs came out great for those characters.
Thank you. Yeah.
And your art is it matches the tone of the book so well. Like I love that opening page with the boss hovering over. You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
fun.
yeah. I like Carl. I really like Carl. He's
Yeah, me too.
he's just a curmudgeonly, great. You had bosses like that,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
He's definitely real.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, that's so true. Well, that's cool. Yeah, and Jeremy, what was it like with you, kind of working with Doug and fleshing those characters out?
I mean, he basically nailed it on the first go. So Doug has a lot more experience with visual storytelling than I do, and I leaned on him quite heavily in this, and it was, I was right to do that. We were getting some pages ready to go to put up for the campaign, and there was one page, I had asked him to resize them for me, and he goes, "Well, there's this one page. I think it needs another panel, right?" And I said, I was just thinking, we don't have time. But I thought, he knows what he's doing. Okay, yeah, let's do that. And it's this panel where you have this mummy before he crashes out and threatens these girls. He sticks his hand out like a claw through the glass, and it's wonderful. It really adds a lot to that page, and I was really glad I trusted him on that. There was also, when we were putting the cover together, the first version of the cover looks quite similar to what we have now, but there was just something about one of the characters that seemed off. And so I went to Doug and I just said, look, I don't know what it is exactly, but I think that you didn't quite nail this guy. If you think I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, but just take a look and,
No, and he was right. Yeah, no, he called me out, and it's like, oh, I'm glad you did, because it looks a lot better now. And yeah, I was like, sometimes I can let things go, and that's a bad thing. And I gotta I'm glad I have another eye on it to tell me, that's not right. So I'm very glad he called me out on that.
So yeah, but I mean, it was also, I was just saying, do you see what I see?
Yeah.
And so that was good. I don't know. Look, it was a really good collaboration, and you do a really good job drawing these characters, and I don't know. I'm at a loss for words for once.
And for a writer, that's saying something.
Yeah, especially me. If it's okay, could we get Doug to talk about some of his different projects that he's done?
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to hear some about that.
I was actually curious about that. Like,
nice.
have you done? Is it mainly indie, or have you done any? You could say mainstream or pro work.
Well, I think the only real mainstream thing I've done was I used to work did artwork for Kenzer and Company. They're an RPG company that they did the Hackmaster, which was kind of the parody version of Dungeons and Dragons.
Nice.
And they had a comic out called Knights of the Dinner Table. So they had an ad in there called Space Hack, which was kind of a cross between Star Wars, Star Trek, Babylon 5 and stuff. And like, that'd make a great idea for a comic book. So I was doing these little one-page stories, and the head guy, Jolly, of Kenzer said, "Could you do a little more?" And pretty soon I was pitching him a 3-issue limited issue series. So I did these 3 issues for him called Space Hack. And that was really fun to kind of get that break, and did pretty well.
Is that anywhere we can find online right now?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Space Hack, you can't find it online. It's just 3 issues that were printed. You can find them in some dustbin somewhere in some comic shop.
Well, that's really cool. I mean, that's really exciting. It sounds like it was a good project.
Yeah. And if I'd played my cards right, I should have stuck on with them longer. But no, I just kind of got a little full of myself. I thought I could do something on my own, and didn't really get back to it because real life kind of took over. So
that's what it tends to do.
Yeah. So of course, Flying Ferret website. I've been doing that since 1996, and it's been on and off, and it's been a labor of love and kind of a so there's been a couple times where I felt like I should just end it, So, but it'd be nice to do another printed version of that, just kind of redo it. And I've talked about that and thought about that.
And that was flyingferret.com?
Yes.
Put that in the YouTube chat. There we are. Nice. Yeah. And is that like a superhero story then?
Yeah, it's a parody. A friend of mine came up with that character, and it was kind of a cross between the Hulk, Wolverine, and Batman. So, but it became something different than all those characters combined. So
It kind of evolved over time.
exactly, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, he was
that's
supposed to be full of rage, but kind of lost the rage after a while.
you only
I
have
don't know why.
to be angry for so long, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
And then you have a project called Slammer.
Slammer, yeah, over on Webtoons. Haven't been able to get back to that one yet, but yeah, that was kind of a superheroes on a prison on a moon. It's kind of an involved story. It's got a lot going on in it. But this doctor character who supposedly killed this kind of Wonder Woman kind of like character, and everybody's like mad at him. Like, why did you kill her? She was so nice. And he's supposed to be this healer, this nice guy. He heals people. And he gets sent to the prison planet, and there's all these little political things going on. And he's not, he's out there, and people are trying to kill him and trying to capture him. And that's a story that's been around for a long time in my head too. So
Really?
yeah,
Right.
I hope to get back to that.
Wow, that's cool.
And you have like a newspaper type strip thing?
Yes, I do a newspaper comic called True North that you can find on Facebook. I've been doing that for 15 years. And that's been a labor. That's one I've been trying to quit too, but it's like the characters are alive and they talk to me and they say, we want to come back. We want to do this. We got ideas for you. Here you go. So they're like almost like living people to me. So it's all based on kind of stuff up in the north that you deal with, the weather and road work, just true north stuff, that mostly the cold, a lot of weather. So.
And that's on your personal Facebook, or do you have a dedicated Facebook to that one?
A dedicated page on Facebook. Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, I'll see if I can pull that one up.
And then-
But it seems like you have a very prolific.
Oh yeah. Do you want to tell about that other thing or not?
Oh, Carousel.
There you go.
Yeah, that's another idea I'm kicking around. I would like to get out there, and that's where humans have been driven from Earth by these demon creatures, and they've been sent into this place called the Carousel. And the Carousel has all these gateways to where all these humans have been scattered through. And this one character has to go and find the humans in each one of these gateways and bring them back and take Earth back.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Sounds
it's kinda-
cool.
yeah, and and there's different. Each gateway is a different world, and it's so wild and different. I've got all these ideas for different worlds and stuff, and it's a little bit Star Trek-y, a little bit superhero, a little bit sci-fi, a little bit of spiritual too. So yeah, it's kind of wild.
Cool.
Wow, damn! How do you find so much time for all those projects?
I don't. I really don't. A lot of time they got to get put aside for something else, work on something else, and it doesn't help that I'm a little distracted too. But I try to get things done. I try to make Flying Ferret every week. True North is easy. The artwork's very simple on it, and I can do that daily. That seems pretty simple, and so, but I gotta say, working at Movie Men has been a kind of nice departure from that. Sometimes you just kind of get mired your own stuff, and it gets kind of old. So it's kind of nice to have somebody else's ideas in your to work on and stuff. So that I appreciate.
Yeah, there's that interesting relationship between the artist and the writer. You kind of, from the artist perspective, it can be cool to be drawing all these new ideas and stories, and you kind of connect with something that was something of your creation, and vice versa for the artist. We get to see. For the writer, we get to see how the artist interprets what we've written and comes back with stuff that we could not imagine. So
Yeah,
I do love that.
But one of my first rules when something comes back that I didn't expect from an artist, I first say, "Well, is it bad?" And then I say, "Well, okay, it's not." If I determine it's not bad, they say, "Well, can you make it work?" And if it's not bad and you can make it work, I just find a way to make it work.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's kind of a rewriting process almost.
Yeah, there was the other thing is that just I often end up constricting my word count once the art comes back to me. It's a little different with Doug, just because Doug is the complete package and he turns stuff in with lettering and everything else.
Oh shit. Nice.
But with other projects, I'll end up shrinking my word count just because I want to get out of the way of the art so much.
No, I get that. I totally get where you're coming from. Yeah, it's a tough balance.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be too wordy. You want to,
Oh yeah, I mean it's the strong and white thing. Every word must tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was given really good advice by the first letterer I worked with, who told me that the dark horse method was that they suggest no more than 25 words per balloon and no more than 50 words per panel.
Mhm.
And keeping that kind of an idea in mind helped me kind of make my writing more concise. And I realized I was being a little repetitive in areas, and I could cut it down and still have the same impact.
Yeah.
Editing is your friend. Yep.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. You got something, and I had to learn that the hard way. So I totally get that.
Yeah, when I was listening to that Mythoverse interview, he was talking about having 40 pages and then have to cut down to 20. I was like, oh, you poor guy. Holy smokes.
Oh,
Jesus. Yeah, that's insane. And Cody, don't you do a lot of cutting down on the Ironverse?
So, kind of. My method so far, so I've only really worked on the 2 issues of Jack and Cactus Coyote manga. I did the lettering and editing. With Jack, we kind of use a modified Marvel method. So I give him my script, which will have dialogue and everything. But once the art comes in, that script basically is just useless, and then I write to the art. The main script is to give the outline I want Maxie to do, and he'll add, take away, combine panels and pages to whatever he thinks will flow and look better. He's got that's why I want an artist. They have the eye, I don't. And if I had that eye while writing, we could avoid that. But I don't. So I'm very happy for artists who do. And I'm very willing to step out of the way and then come back in after they've done their job and put my little polish on it. Sometimes that involves taking away words. Sometimes it'll involve putting more. It really depends on what the page turned into. With number 2, the main thing I ended up doing was just writing better. My script was just to get it down, so the dialogue and stuff was there, but it wasn't polished. It wasn't that fun to read. The word choice wasn't as apt as it should be, and not as interesting as it should be. So I make a point to do that, especially once it's coupled with the art. With the Cactus Coyote manga, I had to find a balance with Dollar Coins, the writer-creator, of what he wanted to convey with it being a manga. So there was a lot of exposition and a lot of... It's supposed to feel like a fan translation. And I tried to take that and make it a little bit more palatable, and we had to find a balance. The first time I did it, it was far too much, and it wasn't his writing anymore, basically. And so we needed to go back and forth and figure it out. And I think we did really well, honestly. But again, every project's probably going to be different unless you've hit a point where you've got an assembly line, and then you don't want to really adapt too much because then the assembly line breaks down. But myself, I haven't gotten to that point, so we're still working on the seat of your pants kind of style.
Yeah, the cactus thing. Is it Japanese style manga or American style manga?
It's an Ironverse style manga. Yeah, honestly. So I was asked this last night when I was doing my drinking live stream, and we only really went with the manga format to justify the quality that we'd be putting out. Even though it's for free, we still, pairing certain things together could cause interesting perceptional things of the brand overall. So we needed to find a way to be able to adapt to any perceptions like that. And making it a manga helped. The line art that Dollar Coins provides, it's manga-esque to start off with. We actually did the storyboards and stuff for the first 2 issues, Western, and by the time we really dove into it, we needed we decided to really give it that extra flair. So it feels like a fan translation of a Japanese manga. So it does read right to left. It's how would I explain this? But I'm sure it's not a pure manga. Like if you know, I'm sure there's things we ignored and there's things we didn't do that would give it more of that flavor. So you can call it a Western manga. It is a Western in terms of genre, for damn sure.
Yeah.
And,
No, I was just getting at right to left versus left to right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, it's right to left in English. It's again, I wanted it to feel like a fan translation, like it was originally written in Japanese and then somebody took it and relettered it for English. So it feels more hobbled and more
genuine.
Genuine works, but yeah, I'm not finding the word choice. Cobbled was the closest I can get, but not implying the problem to it. More rustic, that comes close.
To me, it just sounds like you're paying homage to the Japanese style.
Yeah, it kind of feels like the original One Punch Man before he got the new artist, except our art's much better than One's. But that was our idea. That was our idea, was to release this manga as it is with his art, and then we're going to adapt it. And we'll see how that goes as we're moving forward. But I'm just happy we got another title out, and you know, there's 40 pages free for people to read on this character, and that helped with Jack 1's campaign. I was able to point people to the black and white 24-page issue. So as we move forward with Cactus, we have something to kind of do similar, and we'll see if that helps or not. But you know, a couple weeks, and we've gotten almost 300 views on it. It's getting there. And I haven't heard anything bad except for the few adaptations I had to do for loading it up on Topis. They don't allow double page spreads, so I had to tilt them upwards and load them up as a up and down page, and that bugs me. But you work with what you got.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and I think with all those free pages of Cactus Coyote, I mean that's a lot to read right there. So I think people should really jump on that. It's a good, good material.
So. Do you plan to bring out a print version of that at some point?
Yeah, that would be the hope. Of the manga, I don't know. That's got to be between Dollar Coins and I. I want to. I love it. I find it a lot of fun. Our goal, though, would be to treat it like manga's treated in Japan, especially back in the day, where it's basically read and throw out. So we'd want to put low quality in terms of paper and in terms of size, something, and in terms of cost, for the manga in particular. That because you know it's again it's a very low end manga, so we don't want to charge too much for it, but we would want, you know, I would want a physical myself, and I would work that way if we're able to.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, I think a printed would be pretty cool to see. I think you're right. Keeping it cheap in the printing, that sounds reasonable, you know.
Yeah, especially since we keep it black and white. We just need to come up with a new cover if we were going to do printing. Not for any legality reasons or anything like that. I just we'd want something that's brighter so that you want to pick it up. It would have a color cover.
Something to thank the people who were actually taking the time to buy it.
Yeah, that's exactly that. And I'd probably want an ash can size too, a little cheap newspaper book. I think that would be pretty cool. But who knows? Again, lots of steps forward. We've taken 3 so far. So, and that's probably like step 7 or 8 on this journey if we get there. So, we'll see.
Interesting. Yeah, I just wanted to point out in the chat real quick that Matthew Reese said the idea about the characters coming to the creator and indicating their stories. That's exactly how I feel about my webcomic. Thank you for giving that a voice, Doug.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to point that out. I thought that was a cool comment.
Yeah, I realized my characters had an independent voice for the first time when one of them swore. And it's not that I don't swear, but I don't swear like he swore. So I realized, wait a minute, something's happening here that I need to comprehend better. But it's kind of wonderful.
Nice. So we're getting close to the end of our hour here. What do you guys have on the docket coming forward now for the coming months and so?
Well, I mean, we got to get the printer and all that stuff, but then me and Doug are going to work together on Movie Men Meet Sporkman. I got to write it up. I got to get the sport commanders to make sure that he's not engaging in any unsportsmanlike conduct. And once they give the go ahead, then we'll draw it, and we'll probably just do an Indiegogo for that as soon as that's feasible.
Oh man,
Yeah,
I
I'm
can't
looking
wait
forward
for
to
that. Yeah, me too. Oh man. And what about you, Cody? What do you got on the chopping block, as they say?
Getting issue 2 out, getting that shipped, and seeing the reaction, interacting, seeing if I can get reviews again. There's going to be a long period of trying to make sure issue 2's hype hits hard, because then we after that, our next steps would be talking about a public printing and being able to offer it at all times physically. So that's going to be an interesting few steps you guys and I have to figure out as we get to that point. But that would probably be the next thing on the docket. And then after that, like I was speaking about earlier, I've got 2 choices, 2 paths to take, and we'll see which one seems more feasible at the time. We're either going to like I said already, it's either going to be Jack 3 or another thing we've actually got working on that's coming out pretty well. But yeah, I don't know. But keep paying attention. I'm mostly taking steps as they're presented to me, so we'll see as time goes on. But people can look forward to actually starting their Jack journey, even though they missed the Indiegogos here really soon, and not just digitally, because a lot of people just want to read them in their hands. I have a bunch of backers. In fact, I delivered the digitals to, and they're still waiting on the physicals before they read them, particularly the internationals. But yeah. Just look forward to that. I got to actually go here. Most of us do. We're really close. So I'm just going to plug, follow me on Twitter at cowboy_steel. You can check out our Patreon at Ironverse Comics, or look up Ironverse Comics Patreon on Google. With the Cowboy Steel, click the link in the chat, take you right to me. If you try to just search it in Twitter, you possibly will not find me. I believe I am shadow banned, so you got to find me either through Google or through a direct link like this. You can also check out our Subscribestar if you're not a fan of Patreon. It'll have the same benefits, and you can get a hold of the digital manga copy, HD digital DRM free manga copy of Cactus Coyote through that for $1. So and we appreciate that $1 very much. So if you guys want to support us, that's the cheapest, easiest, and most consistent way to do so is through Subscribestar or Patreon. But again, just keep paying attention to those campaigns, and I hope we can continue to grab more and more Ironverse Comics and Wikid Publishing readers.
Nice, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I it's been incredible to see your guys' journey, and I just can't wait to see what you guys do next.
Thank you.
And real quick, the Subscribestar, what is that under? Is that under?
It should be Ironverse Comics as well. It should be. I labeled it as it's not very well maintained, but if anybody puts money into it, I'm going to get you your book. Don't worry, just like Patreon. It's just Subscribestar's so much less. There's less utility to it, so there's less I can do, so I haven't paid attention to it much. And since we haven't gotten much movement from the Patreon to Subscribestar, there hasn't been too much reason to continue to support it as the same to the Patreon. But honestly, if I get notified, I'll make it happen, folks. Just until then, wasted energy.
Nice. And then where can Jeremy and Doug, where can people follow your adventures online?
Well, we got still a week left of the movie. Go to Indiegogo, look for Movie Men, and you can back it. It's, if you want a digital, it's $4. If you want a physical, it's $5 plus shipping. And it's a comic that is as close to 100% fun as we could possibly make it. And then if you want to follow us on Twitter, I'm at Jeremy Lot Diary. And Doug?
Yeah. What is mine? At Twitter, I'm at Doug Curtis on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook, of course, on the Flying Ferret or True North Comics. I'm missing something here. I'm on Instagram too. I don't remember my handle there since I barely get there, but I try. I think it's Doug Cartoons on Instagram.
Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And you said would you mind pulling up how do I get to the Facebook link for your True North Comics page?
Let me see. What is I think you can just.
It's slash Doug Curtis, but it's spelled D-U-G Curtis.
Yep, D-U-G. Sorry. Yes, I should specify that.
I believe I found it. Yep, here we are. And you post the comic True North on that page there? Oh, yeah, there it is. Nice.
Oh.
Very cool. I'll post that in the YouTube chat as well.
All right, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome, yeah. And thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate it. It's been great talking with you, Doug. I appreciate you taking time to speak with us about Movie Men.
Yeah, you're welcome. Great to be here. A lot of fun.
We'll have to do this again. This is our first artist edition, but it would be great to have you guys come on for another podcast sometime down the line.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome, guys. Well, thanks again. It looks like we're joined by a wild spark, so I guess that signals that we'll be starting up the next segment. So I appreciate you coming on. Is there anything else you guys want to say to your fans out there?
Thank you.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's awesome.
And
man.
Congratulations from Spork.
Thank you, sir.
Nice.
All right, I'll take off.
See you, man. We'll talk to you later. Thanks again.
All right.
Welcome, Chuck.
Welcome. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, we weren't going to do it, but then somebody told me, since we're going to be doing the Kickstarter here, we should kind of still come on and promote. So.
Yeah, smart move.
So we're just going to wait for, I guess, Eric and Ginger to come on here. Hopefully, they should jump in here in a few minutes.
No worries. In the meantime, how have you been doing with everything?
Pretty good. Tired, exhausted. Eric and I have been, just trying to tweak out some stuff for the Kickstarter. And matter of fact, actually, I have that preview so we can share.
Oh, excellent.
So yeah, Eric just got done doing the video for it and stuff like that. So so we're kind of ready to whenever we decide. We haven't decided like the official date. I'm hoping June 1st is when I like to launch it because that's a Saturday. So that'll give us about a week here. So for us to do that. Basically, this is just going to be like a short campaign. I'm going to run it for 30 days on the Kickstarter to open up the project over there to them. We got a small goal over there that will. So
that's cool. I think that's a good idea. Moving forward, I think that'll help you guys push the book out even faster, and I think the fans and readers will be rewarded for that ultimately.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And we got Wrath here. What's up, Scott?
Morning.
Good morning. How's it going?
Good
morning, Drew.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm a little late.
No worries.
Just having problems with late. Google Hangouts.
Yeah, same here. I had an update I had to install.
Oh boy.
And yeah, it looks like Ginger is going to be joining us too. So
excellent. Looks like we got a good group of creators and artists here.
Yeah. Hi, Drew. Good to talk to you again.
Nice to talk to you too.
Have you guys, Drew and Scott, how have you guys been doing?
Pretty good, I would say.
Nice.
We got our first international backer this week,
awesome.
So that was really cool.
Yeah, that was exciting. Price tag's a little higher than I'd like, but things are what they are.
Right, international is tough that way.
Yeah, hopefully, we can address that in the future, but that just depends on how big Wikid itself gets. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, we'll definitely at some point we'll bring up your campaign and start going over the actual page itself to kind of look at the different tiers and stuff.
Yeah, we could definitely do that.
Yeah, I think that would be cool to see. Let's see. So, do we just get joined by another creator?
Ginger. Yep.
Ginger. Yay. Hello again. Thanks for joining us back. I appreciate it. And then, do we have Eric coming on as well?
I sent him the link, so hopefully he'll be able to get one.
Okay, cool. Well, in the meantime, thanks again. I appreciate you coming on and welcome to the chat. Why don't you guys tell us, as the artists, why don't you tell us a little bit about what it's been like working on your various projects?
All right. I can start. I would say that intimidating at first because this is my first comic project, but it's been a lot of fun so far. It's been like just because it's challenging does not make it enjoyable. In fact, that sort of makes it even more fun.
Really?
Yeah, it's just like I'm kind of learning something new and creating something pretty cool.
Wow.
And it never hurts that every time I finish something and send it over to Scott, he's like, amazing! This is amazing!
Yeah, that's a good encouragement.
Yeah,
And,
it does make my day when I have to I gotta get up for work, because we were talking about this the other night. Is I'm usually sleeping when she's working, so when she's finished, she'll send it to me, and then I get up to go to work in the morning, and then I got this new thing to look at, and it just kind of gives me a boost today, because I'm like, yes, this is exactly what I wanted, and then it just kind of sets my mood for the day.
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
So that's kind of something I'm looking forward to. Is once we get funded, I've got a good 6 months of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, yours is a big book, so you're gonna have a lot of fun stuff to see coming forward.
Oh yeah, lots of stuff to look forward to on that. Which goes into the intimidating part for Drew, because I kind of dropped this huge project in front of him and said, "Hey, let's do this."
Nice, yeah. And then and Ginger, what has it been like for you working on Sporkman? Yeah, have you? How did you get involved in the project?
I don't remember exactly. I know that the enrollment started with once again me drawing pony versions of Sportman.
Mm-hmm.
I drew Sportman and the ponies from the show fighting a big monster.
Was that the crab monster?
No, it was the she drawn Sporkman with the main six, and also with Muffins in the background, or also known as Derpy, and that was the first image I ever got from Ginger.
Really?
And that's really what made me fall in love with her colors, because that project was just unbelievable. I did not expect that at all. So, yeah. So, Ginger's been amazing. The stuff that she did from, that, and then, the art piece that I commissioned for her on, Brain Freeze, Natsumi, and then the 2 pages that she, did for coloring. It's amazing. She is very underrated. I think people need to get her on their projects or commission her completely, 100%.
You gotta keep it staying busy, huh? That's right. It seems like you're doing a lot of projects, and do you find that you are able to manage all that time well?
Well, staying busy is good. Good financially, especially. I like working. I mean, managing a whole bunch of projects was really intimidating, but I think now I'm finding a way to do it and just enjoying it.
Nice. Yeah, that's great. Now, you guys are one of you guys, Sporkman is heading into its Kickstarter right now, and Wrath is in the middle of. I believe you guys are on Kickstarter as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So, what have you guys learned? Is there anything that you guys have learned in the process of doing these campaigns so far?
It's a lot of promotional work. That's for sure. Probably a lot more than I expected. The other thing too is patience is a big part of it too, especially like the longer your campaign goes. That was a little bit of a shocker to me. That it, people kind of do things in their own time, and the more time you give them to do it, the longer it's going to take them to step up. Some people are a little bit more, on point, but
I mean, I told my parents to can't do it, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna do it," and I'm like, "Well, do it already." They're like, "Well, we have until the middle of June. There's no rush." I'm like, "Please."
Wow.
that tends to be the thing that I see, that so many people wait till like the last day, that like, especially like some of the people that are really excited about your project. A few people that I know, they're like, well, I'm waiting until the last day. I'm like, why are you waiting until the last day? What's the difference? Well, then a couple of people explained to me they didn't get paid, so I understand that, but for the most part, it's like, if you're really excited about a project, back it like I did, day one. That's the quickest way to make sure something gets done.
Very true, yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of important too, is if you can back something early, please do so, because it builds momentum too. And a lot of people, like especially backers, don't really understand how important that is for a project.
Interesting.
Well, it also puts you on the map too. The more backers that you have on a project, the more your ratio goes up and stuff like that. A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of that goes into like where you're at. Like if you appear on like a top 50 list or something like that or trending. So the more backers you have, the more excited the project is for. People are going to be more inclined to click on your project and back that project because they're seeing that you're a recommended or you're trending.
Interesting. Yeah. Lot goes into to these campaigns.
They do. It is, and like Scott said, it is a lot of promotion. People don't realize it is really a full-time job on top of what you already do. Because you got to keep the grind going. I made the mistake after this campaign to kind of wind down a little bit and talk about the Kickstarter. Somebody's like, yeah, no, you should have just kept on going because you're going right into the Kickstarter here. You should have been promoting that a while. I'm like, well, I'm not doing it for another 2 weeks. They're like, no, but you're keeping it fresh in people's mind.
Interesting.
Yeah. That is a true statement. Like if you're going to segue, you might as well like keep building the road into that next project.
That makes a lot of sense. Keep that hype train going.
Yeah. I think that if something falls through with us not getting our funding, I will keep definitely promoting it and building the hype until we are ready to launch again.
Pretty smart idea, actually. Yeah, I could see that being a good way to do it, actually. Speaking of which, would you mind if we took a look at your campaign and kind of showed the viewers what you got going on?
Sure.
Let me pull that up just 1 second.
Since we're the only active campaign now that Mythoverse got funded this morning, which is big news.
Well, let's see. They're active for another 8 hours, I believe. And then,
right. And then Movie Man's still technically active too.
Yeah.
I think he's got 7 more days. Which, by the way, you should totally jump on that because Jeremy has teased that they've got these little novelty tickets that if we get close to 100 backers, everyone gets one of those with their comics.
Yeah, I can't wait to see those. Those are gonna be awesome. We're printing them through the printer guy who does our comics. And so you're gonna get good high quality items here. So definitely look forward to that as well. And I have the Wrath now as well. Awesome. Looks like you guys recently broke $1,000. Congratulations.
Yep, that was part of the international backer. They pushed us
nice.
over 1,000. We were real close to it for a while there.
That's great. Yeah. Now, let's see. Let's take a look at the tiers that you guys have going on. So I see that you posted the cover recently.
Yeah, I changed up the format a little bit. I got our variant cover up there just so that you get it right there first thing. and then I moved. There was a sample page, or like a little clip of the page with the creature in color there that I moved down to the bottom.
Nice. So, for those who aren't familiar with Wrath, what is Wrath about, and can you tell us a little about the characters?
Sure. So what you're looking at right there is Doug and Nicole. They're two best friends from childhood that are basically out of high school, getting into community college, kind of figuring life out. Part of Doug's early childhood, he had some domestic issues that were pretty bad. So he's been kind of carrying those emotions with him for a long time. And during a casual conversation with his friend Nicole, she kind of unintentionally reminds him of that. And so he heads home, and then something happens on his way home that's kind of a catalyst that brings all that out of him. So then he goes to sleep that night, and stuff happens where it kind of releases this latent power in him where he can take all that emotional trauma, like his anger, regret, resentment, and it can take on a physical form. And it goes out and kind of tries to rectify what happened to him that night in its own way.
Interesting. Yeah. Kind of that building everything that's going to kind of go forward from there. Now we have the back to the variant cover here. We see the main character Doug. Is that him at a younger age by any chance?
Yes, this is kind of so we had two ideas for the cover. This was my idea where we kind of see like the origin, like the kind of like the planting of the seed, so to speak, where you see that trauma is kind of manifesting there and first appearing. I've been thinking about this a lot too. Is it's kind of like a loss of innocence moment for him too. Like the world isn't what Doug thinks it is anymore. And then for the regular cover, Drew's idea was, and I really like this one because it pairs so well with the variant, is you're going to get it like a little moment before he goes into the event that kind of spurs this whole, the catalytic moment that triggers all these powers. So that's going to be the standard cover.
Do we have is the standard cover finished at this point, or is it still a work in progress?
That's going to be something like we've kind of run out of runway, so to speak. That's why we wanted to jump into the Kickstarter so we can get the funding so that we can start getting all that done and showing our backers, what this is really gonna come out to be.
Nice. And so we have a digital tier, we have a physical tier. Then we start getting into some of the upper tiers where you get a digital and a signed copy.
Yeah, one thing I did, and I picked up on this from someone's tweet, is every single tier is going to have a digital copy.
Oh, okay.
Just because it's not that hard for us to do, and it gives you that option if you want both.
No, I totally get that. That's a good way to do it. I think people will like having the ability to read both or have both at their disposal.
Also, for those people that just can't wait to get the physical copy, then they get like a little preview beforehand.
Nice, yeah, that's totally awesome. And then moving on to the next one, we have digital copy, standard issue, and a signed variant issue. So you get like the whole bundle there, one of each.
Correct, and that's also what we put into the international package. If you do back us at that, I wanted to try and get our international backers as much as we could for their expensive shipping costs. So they'll get the digital, they get the regular version, and then they get the signed variant.
Nice, yeah, that makes sense. You get the most bang for your buck there. And then
the nice thing that we can do with Wrath, since I'm in close proximity to you, is unlike a lot of the other Wikid projects, is I can actually come over and sign these for everyone.
Exactly.
So
that's a nice touch.
Yeah, I wanted to take advantage of that too.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Having the actual signed copy and of the variant, I think that'll be a nice treat for people who are used to not getting signed copies on Indiegogo.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
goal here, people, is that I spend so much time at Michael's house signing variants that he gets sick of me and has to kick me out.
Oh boy, so that's to look forward to. Thanks to everyone. I'll get us some drinks. I'll some mixed drinks for the occasion. Then we'll get to work.
All right.
We're gonna need a stiff drink before we get to all those books. But no, that is a all joking aside, that is a really cool thing that you're able to do. Offer those signed copies. I think that is really nice. And then on the next backer level up, we have the illustration backer, which you get a full color waist up character commission of a character or person of their choosing.
Wait, which one was that one? Because there's two of them. There's a sketch, and then there's the full color. I think you skipped the sketch.
Sorry about that. Oops. So yeah, there's the sketch one, which is not a non-full color. So for you to get the sketch or the full color illustration.
I'll let Drew talk about that because that's more her ball of wax that she's going to be working with.
For sure.
Yeah, what did you have in mind for that?
So for the sketch and the illustration backers, it's basically, I wanted to offer the sketch one for people who maybe, still wanted something drawn, but didn't have as much money to put towards the Kickstarter. So any character, if you want me to draw a character, if you want me to draw like your best friend, you want me to draw your wife for her anniversary or something like that, it's just basically this is a way to get a reduced price commission from me just to go towards helping the project. So
it's a good deal, really. I mean, you're getting at a reduced price here, so it's it's actually a really good time to take advantage of this and get some cool art.
Yeah, because you'll get a sketch from Drew, you get the signed variant cover, and you get the digital copy.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's a lot right there. So I mean, that's a good deal. So yeah, no, I think that's cool. And we see that it looks like 5 backers, so there's 5 left. So if you want to do that, better get on it before they fill up. That's for sure.
Yeah, we actually only had 5 originally, and then they
Really?
filled up, and we're like, maybe we should add a couple more.
Oh, that's so funny. You're like, wow, this is filling up way faster. We gotta do something here. Well, no, that's awesome. And then we go to the color tier, which I described, and that again you get everything. And this one coming with a full color illustration, and looks like this one, whereas the sketch one didn't have a background, this one does come with a simple background included.
Yes.
And then is this the yep, we go to the final tier here, and that is to actually be part of the story and get a cameo in the comic itself. So that's awesome.
Right, and that can be like either yourself, a loved one, or even your own character. I know Salem was talking about putting one of his characters in there. So
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I was actually really excited when he said he was going to do that. I was like, because I've seen some of his characters and they're pretty cool.
Nice. That's cool. That's a fun Easter egg. I like that. Very cool. So it looks like there's a 5 out of 8 left on that one as well.
Yeah, we've actually had a few backers on that. That's what's been pushing us up to the 1,000 mark there. But there's still plenty of room with people who want to back us on that. And of course, you get the signed variant and the digital copies with that as well.
Now, what do we have? What are we looking at here?
So this is actually going to be a full single panel page from the book. And what's happening here is, like I said, this is the creature that manifests out of Doug while he's sleeping, and these 2 unfortunates are dealing with that. What's going on with that there? I don't want to spoil too much of what happened or what's happening here, but we wanted to get some action into the preview here, and also to show because we're doing grayscale, but we're also doing some color with the creature. And we wanted to get everyone to see what the creature is going to look like on the page with that grayscaling.
Nice. Yeah, it's cool. It's so visually striking. I love that look to it.
Yeah, that was I can't remember if it was you or Sulos that came up with that idea, because I was like,
I think it was Matt. Yeah.
Between doing color and black and white, because I wanted to do some things with the color on the creatures, and I think it was Matt was like, well, you could just do the creatures in color and the rest of it in grayscale, and I was like, oh, that's such a fantastic idea.
Yeah, I think it came out so cool. I can't wait to see that in print. Oh my god, it's gonna be so awesome. So yeah, it definitely everyone should go and check out their campaign. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link in the chat for you guys, so you guys can go check that out. It's a really cool project, really great characters and a story, and I just think people are gonna really connect with the themes and things that you're trying to bring across with this project.
Yeah, that's what a lot I get when I explain to people is like they kind of relate to that, or it resonates with them on some level. And the more I talk about it with people, the more I present it with new people, the more support I'm getting. So that's why we're doing as many live streams as we can. We're posting on Twitter as much as we can. In fact, we have 2 more live streams this weekend. We've got one tonight. And then another one on Sunday night as well. So we've got a busy weekend.
And just a quick question, Salem LeBlanc in the chat asks, when's the deadline again for the character submission? I'm assuming just the end of the campaign, right?
Correct. That would be, I think it's either the 15th or the 17th of June.
Okay, cool.
Let me check.
And
17th of June.
Okay. Definitely. So, we've been talking about the Wrath Kickstarter, but that's not the only Kickstarter in town. There's actually a new Kickstarter coming out for the Sporkman Goes to Japan trade paperback as a follow-up to the Indiegogo. And I know you kind of mentioned maybe we could get a little bit of a preview. Is that possible, do you think?
Yeah. I have the link in our group chat there for you guys,
Sweet.
So that way you
Thank
can click on it. Eric, you with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and screen share this now.
I had a quick question. Is the Kickstarter going to delay the delivery of the Indiegogo at all, or is that still?
Nope, it's not going to delay the Indiegogo. We're basically all it's doing is just a follow-up for just launching on that platform. So they'll go to print the same time that everybody else goes to print.
Yeah, because what happened is we didn't meet the goal on the Indiegogo, but we raised what we needed to do to pay our colorist, which was the primary thing that we had to do. So we have money, she's paid, and so work can progress on that front, but we're hoping that Kickstarter can kind of make up the difference of what we weren't able to get on the Indiegogo, and hopefully it will do even more than what we have the goal set for. But
right, because this was a remastering project, right? To add color and
yeah,
clean up
exactly.
the lettering, I think it was.
Yeah, that we don't have money to do the lettering yet, and hopefully we'll be able to make that up on the Kickstarter, because there's a whole demographic that probably is unaware of Indiegogo or doesn't go there, and so we're hoping to pick up some of those people.
Yeah, and I know I didn't get a chance to talk to Eric about that. Right now, Ginger and I are kind of working on a alternate plan for the lettering. Ginger's going to be making me word balloons, and I got new font to use. So just in case, so we have an alternate.
Nice, yeah.
So Eric, I'll let you do this if you want to go ahead and do this here.
Do this here what?
The Kickstarter. If you want to talk about the Kickstarter.
Well, I didn't set it up, but the Kickstarter is it's not quite as in depth as far as like all the different options that we had with the Indiegogo. For some reasons, there was stuff that was limited. Like, for example, the one poster we're doing, we were selling the original artwork for that. That's already spoken for, so obviously that can't be a tier. We were doing some Sporkman action figures, which we intended to only do so many. They were all spoken for during the campaign. So some of those, I would say, quote unquote, specialty tiers aren't going to be there for the Kickstarter.
is going to be a little bit more basic as far as the offerings and everything. We're thinking about maybe trying to do at least one special thing for it. That might be kind of exciting for people, but we haven't settled on anything like that. The cover for the trade is going to be exclusive to the campaign. Both the Indiegogo and Kickstarter will have the exclusive cover for the trade. After that, it's going to have another cover for mass market. So if someone is looking to get it and get something that is specific to the campaign, the cover on the trade is.
Nice. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do want to answer actually a question. Shinobi says, "Why don't more creators in the community use Kickstarter?" And I agree. A lot of it comes back to politics. There's a lot of reasons, but I think both sites have their positives and negatives. I think creators should take advantage of both of them, but there's features that I love that Indiegogo does, like the in-demand store. They do take a less of a cut than what Kickstarter does. Downside, also the flex goal in Indiegogo, it can be a positive and a negative.
Well, and too, with Kickstarter, you have name recognition. Like, for example, you know how someone will say, "Hand me a Kleenex," they mean a tissue. If someone says, "Google that," well, they don't care if you're using Bing, but we all know that is hand me a tissue. We all know that is searching for something on the internet. And there's a lot of people. I ran an Indiegogo campaign last year for something unrelated to comics. And people are like, "What's Indiegogo?" And I say, "Well, it's crowdfunding." And they answer, "Oh, like Kickstarter." So it's like there is definitely, I think, a greater name recognition for Kickstarter, because I think it's one of the first places that ever did crowdfunding.
Mm-hmm.
So that has a lot more name recognition, I think, than Indiegogo. People just use Kickstarter as a blanket term for crowdfunding a lot of times. So there is an awareness there on Kickstarter that I think maybe less people are familiar with Indiegogo.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, it's. I think isn't Indiegogo newer than Kickstarter somewhat?
Yeah.
There's another part to that too that came up after I'd launched, is how Kickstarter and Indiegogo build the backers as well.
Yeah,
right.
I think Indiegogo takes the money up front, but then will refund it, like if you have a all or nothing campaign, where Kickstarter just kind of flags it, and then when it succeeds, it then pulls all the funds in.
Correct.
Yeah, and so from a backer perspective, there's also a preference, as far as not just the creator end, but on the backer end, there's some people that have a preference just for those kind of reasons.
Yeah, like I'm more of a fan of taking the money out right away, that I don't have to worry about it. Whereas with Kickstarter, I got to make sure I have the money in there and aware not to spend that money, because I'm actually pledged to that. So there's a couple times where I have projects I didn't have the money in, and I've had to wait a couple days to switch, till I get the money in there. So that's the one nice thing I do like about Indiegogo, is that functionality. But like I said, they both have their positives and negatives. So, but I think honestly, depending on what you do, if you get funded, like I think, if you get funded on Kickstarter, open up an Indiegogo, do the in-demand store, because you can do that. Once you are fully funded, you can go in demand on Kickstarter or on Indiegogo, and you can have the store that way. So, but yeah, Eric, go ahead with the rest. Sorry to interrupt there.
Yeah, so really with Kickstarter, I think honestly, even if we had fully funded the Indiegogo, we always had the intention of, let's see what Kickstarter can do for us, because we haven't tried that platform before. We may find out that a majority of our backers are going to come from there. We don't know until we try it, and and unfortunately, this was the second time we ran an Indiegogo for this, and we actually got less backers this time than previously, which was a little disheartening. The whole thing, at least for me, has been kind of disheartening because even though we paid for what we absolutely wanted to pay for, but my wife was telling me yesterday, she's like, you got to stay off Twitter because every time you're on, all you're doing is like, oh, this person just did their goal. This person, and I gotta admit, man, looking around, it's like I don't see anyone not making their goal except us. And I know they're out there, but all I'm seeing is people succeeding at their goal. Sometimes they have a goal as high as ours, if not higher, and they're making it. And so it's kind of disheartening that we're even having to do this, especially because so many people. There's been a lot of debate lately about that I've been seeing, at least, where people are talking about, well, you should have the book done before you even raise the funds. And, I said to one of these people, I said, well, if you don't have the money in the first place, you're never going to get the project made to then do the crowdfunding. Yeah, but people are turned off by projects that aren't done. And I'm like, look, if you do not have the money up front, you are never going to do your project. It's always just going to be a dream.
Well, that's also the idea of what Kickstarter and Indiegogo are for, is to generate the funds so that you can do the project.
Yeah, exactly. The whole benefit of it is for people that don't have that rich uncle that's just going to pay for stuff.
Well, I think reason why that mentality has changed because there's been a lot of creators that have been in progress and they burnt people.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I can understand that, but by the same token, the tools we're using them that way for a reason. You know, there's a whole reason they exist, and they don't exist so people can fund a project they already had the money for. You know, and when you're talking about how much money it takes to do a comic, it's crazy, but it's been kind of disheartening because it's like, if that's a lot of people's mentality that they want to see a finished project, Sporkman Goes to Japan was a finished project. We're just adding to it. So it's like people don't have to worry about it not happening because, like, I don't even see how that would be a fear for our particular campaign because the comic's done. We're just colorizing it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and I do think that following up on Kickstarter was a good idea. I think that's a good way to generate some more funds for it. And you mentioned why other people getting their goals and stuff, but like you said, there are others out there like and even Cody had to come back a second time and to get his thing off the ground. So I do feel like there is some element of persistence to it all.
Yeah,
which managed to do well.
One that's going right now that I think is doing better than it originally did was a Hero, that reanimated soldier comic. I think they tried to do a Indiegogo and it didn't meet funding.
Yeah, they did.
One of the things that I saw them doing right was that they tried to keep the iron hot. They kept, showing more, kept talking about their project until they relaunched.
And that's key. That is a big key, which is why we kind of went into, because between me and Eric, we were just tired of running the Indiegogo, so we wanted kind of a little downtime. And somebody's like, no, you really need to, since you're going into Indiegogo or into the Kickstarter, you need to keep that momentum going, so people know about your project. And I'm like, oh, but I need to take some time off. My brain is like mush right now.
and when it comes to Twitter, the really weird thing about Twitter versus, like, say, Facebook and stuff like that is when it comes to advertising and you're just posting all the time, like, you think to yourself, you're like, all the same people are seeing my posts. They're either already on board or they're not. But the weird thing about Twitter is that you'll get conversations pop up in your feed from complete strangers, people that you have no idea who they are, and somehow they show up in your feed. Well, those types of people are also seeing your posts that they're like, who is this person in this completely random thing? But you really are, in a way, advertising to complete strangers just posting at all.
Well, the other important thing about that is if you're a fan of a project, is hitting the retweet button, because you're just exposing that to a whole bunch of other people that the creator doesn't have access to. I think that's why we've had some success with Wrath. Is like, I don't have a lot of followers, but because I'm with Wikid, and the Wikid fam just signal boosts all my stuff, I'm getting it out there to an audience that I would not have access to at all.
And that's part of what we want. That was always something we wanted to do with Wikid, was create a group, a team that could help build each other up and put these projects out there.
It really is. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I'm really excited to see that happening.
Yeah, it's almost really like a tree where the creator is like the trunk, and then all the tweets and retweets are all the branches, that go out, and that's what keeps your project alive. Is that branching out?
Yeah, that's very true. It's a really important part of it. You got to have that foundation and branch it out from there. But I think that is a strong part of this community that that has been developing around the indie comics scene. There's just a lot of good people out there helping to promote projects and so yeah, no, I think that actually is a really good point. Yeah.
Like, one of the people that's helped me a lot outside of Wikid has been Claylex. Like, he was first of all, our first backer, and like, he's like on top of like anything I put out. He's like retweet, like, he's been amazing.
Yeah, yep, exactly. I agree. I have to. Claylex is phenomenal. He does the same thing. Dion Powell is another person. There's a great group of community out there that likes what we're doing.
Nice. Yeah, it's awesome, man. And I'm sure it must be a good feeling to have these backers support you like this.
Yep, and the same thing with Shinobi Raccoon. Sporkman would not be where it is. So he has a person who backed us and also helped promoting us too.
Now, one thing, Chuck, that I think is different about the Kickstarter that wasn't available through the Indiegogo is digital versions, right?
Yes. We are planning on doing a digital version. I haven't done that tier yet. We are going to be doing a digital version for those on Kickstarter.
Yeah. So if someone was even following the Indiegogo and they said, man, I only collect digital anymore, and they don't offer that. Well, if they go to the Kickstarter, we are offering it through there. So people will be able to get digital versions if they want.
Nice. Yeah, so speaking of which, why don't we just talk a little bit about the tiers that you guys are offering with this Kickstarter version. So we start off with 3 physical floppies and a poster. So this is your Sporkman Goes to Japan floppy edition. Single issue, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Nice.
Yep. So that's the 3. That's basically the 3 original prints with the new coloring. And if we wish possibly the new lettering, depending on how we get done. If we're able to do that. If not, we'll go with the original lettering. But I think we'll have the new lettering done because between Ginger and I, we'll be able to get it done. Mm-hmm. So that will give you pretty much everything. It's not going to be the black and white. It's going to be the new colors and everything. You'll get that in print and also digital. And then you get a poster and a decal. Yeah. So right there, you're already getting an added bonus. You're getting digital along with, print version. Now, we haven't talked about what the actual digital campaign starts at. Eric and I, that's something him and I need to tweak out what that starting rate is. But for a print version, $15, and you can't get that. I mean, you get 3. You go into a comic book shop, you'd be lucky to get out of there with less than $15.
Well, and also too, we're talking 3 issues, but it's not 24 pages. It's a total of 9. Yeah, it's a total of 91 pages. So you're actually getting like
32, 32, and then 28.
Yeah, so you're almost getting the equivalent of 4 issues, page count wise, for $15. I mean that, and it's an indie, which automatically means it's more cost to us as indie creators.
Mm-hmm. True, yeah, and I mean that's a good deal, I think, and I like that you guys offer an option for people who still want to go floppy as opposed to going to the trade paperback route.
Quite honestly, I've been surprised how many people I think it's been about 50-50 on the Indiegogo who got floppies versus trades. But
a little more than that, actually, because there's a lot of people that backed at the double tier, at the $37 tier.
Okay, but I mean, the thing you have to remember with the floppies is it's significantly less. Now, granted, you don't get any of that bonus content that you do with the trade, but I mean, we're not talking about people that have been fans for years and have read, 40 some issues of Sporkman. A lot of people, this is going to be the very first time they've read something. So for them, they're not going to want to spend as much on something where they're not sure how much they're going to like it. So I think having the lower price definitely is a factor, because if they don't like something, they're not going to care about bonus content for what they don't like.
Right.
So I think a lot of people are like, $10 cheaper, they're going to go get the floppy first. Yeah, so I think that's a good reason to offer that. Plus, you get some people that they're going to want the original covers and stuff like that, so they get the 3 covers, and all that art would be included in the trade. But some people, that's just how they prefer their books. But I know from here on out, going forward, we're not planning on really releasing individual issues like that. When we do a Sporkman adventure, it's going to be however many pages it is, and it's going to be just sold as is. That's our intention going forward.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
I mean, that's one reason we're doing a trade is so we can actually have an entire story, all together. And me personally, if I like something, I love seeing the bonus stuff, concept sketches, all that kind of stuff. I dig that. So that's something where going forward, if we do something in more of a trade format, we can always kind of include some of those little bonus things.
Right. Yeah, that's always kind of a nice addition that you get with a trade paperback sometimes. So I want to put a pause just real quick on the campaign. I'm going to pull it up again in just a second. But I wanted to take a chance real quick to ask the artists that we have with us about if they have anything they could share about maybe some of the your favorite parts about drawing your characters and the worlds that you are doing in the projects that you're working on.
Cool. Yeah, sure. Do you want to go first, Ginger?
Well, I'm a colorist, so I think you should go first.
Right. Well, I guess, or no, like I said before, that Wrath is still in its pretty early development, so part of the fun for me was just like, Scott gave me these character ideas, and he was like, here are the characters. There's no previous visual art for them, so go wild. And so I, sat down and sketched out sort of what I thought the characters would look like. And there was actually one funny thing that I'll have to be a little cagey about, because it's something we haven't talked about yet. But I was drawing something, and I kind of sent the look over to Scott, and he was like, well, just don't make him look too much like this. And I said, what? I don't know who that is. And so I Googled it, and sure enough, like, I had just subconsciously drawn these characters like a couple other characters that already exist. And Scott was like, that's wild, because those were the characters I was sort of like thinking about when I was writing them. And the fact that you like picked up on that was pretty wild. And I was like, I didn't even mean to. So having to go back and change those character designs a little bit. But I thought that was an interesting thing, that it's just I was able to kind of get that from the writing. Just puts to how good Scott's writing is.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I was like, don't try and make him look like so-and-so. And she's like, who? And I'm like, wait, what? How did you get from here to here without knowing that? So if you want to try and guess on what we're talking about, it's that full panel page there with the creature. Look closely at the silhouettes and see if they remind you of anyone. But yeah, that's what she's talking about there.
You know,
So
go ahead, Scott. I'm sorry.
And when I was writing it, like, I didn't think about it at first. I was just like, okay, these are just two characters, blah, blah, blah. And then as I got further into the script, I'm like, they're kind of turning into these characters that I really like, and I don't want them to be too much like them.
And Ginger, what are some of the favorite things that you have about working on drawing Sporkman and working on that series?
The first page I colored had this giant crab monster.
Ginger, I don't know if other people can't. I can't really hear you.
Oh,
You're a little
is this
quiet.
better?
Oh,
Hey.
Okay. So yeah, I love the giant crab monster that's in one of the issues. That was the first thing I colored for Sporkman, and
really?
a page with the battle, and I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, the colors came out perfect on that. I think they just they really pop.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, they're nice, and the thing is I've always said Sporkman. I see it as a very bright, colorful, and vibrant comic, and Ginger does very, very good with that sort of thing.
Nice.
I do try.
Now I'm gonna white screen you there so everyone can see what you got working on there. I love that little bunny character there. It's so fun. You look so vicious.
That is the Monkey Pond, and Monkey Ponds do not like Sporkman.
Was Ginger the one that did that like clay model of kind of a similar scene? Yeah, that was amazing.
It was fun to work on. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to. I'm trying to really convince Doug to let us use Go for the cover. I loved because I love the. I think that would be great as like an off cover. Because that work that Ginger did there is just phenomenal. So I'm trying to convince Doug to let us use it because unfortunately he owns the second character that was on that page. So that's Doug Maple, by the way. He did Earthworm Jim. So yeah, so I'm trying to convince him to let us use the cover right now. We want to use it in the Kickstarter, but I haven't gotten approval yet, so I can't offer it yet until I get his approval.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hopefully that'll work out then. Yeah, that would be nice.
And I think that would be. I think that will really pull people into the project more because it's going to be because I think Ginger really, for me at least, and I'm not sure how Eric feels. I think she really caught Sporkman's like uniqueness in that, being very, very silly and over the top, and and then how the Monkey Pond get very like agitated when he's around.
Yeah.
In clay, man, they looked especially vicious.
Yeah.
I enjoyed making them.
You definitely don't want to be in a dark alley with any of those. Like,
No.
especially
no, almost anyone else is fine. They just hate Sporkman for some reason.
Yep, you don't see Sporkman in a dark alley. Pulling up the campaign just again so we can finish up going through those tiers real quick. 1 second. And when do you guys plan on launching this? Do you guys have a time frame yet?
We really haven't talked about it. I like to go June 1st, but we'll talk about that afterwards, and we'll announce that when we definitely do that. I kind of don't want to step on other people's toes too much because I know with Scott and them, for us, the thing is with the Kickstarter is we don't need anybody else's campaign. We don't need to really worry about running anybody else's or our campaign on anybody else's because this is just on top of what we're doing. So I don't want to step toes. I want to finish Scott to finish his out first strong before we kind of launch ours. So we haven't talked about that yet. So
yeah. And so we have we talked about the floppy one, and then we also have a Brad Ashworth trade paperback plus poster combo.
Mm-hmm.
That one's at the 25 tier. Then we also have the kind of a combo where you get both the floppies and the trade paperback.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. And then looks like a trade paperback, a Brad Ashworth trade paperback plus a T-shirt poster combo.
Correct.
Yep.
Now, what kind of a T-shirt are you guys offering? Is this the one that was offered on the last part of the campaign?
Yep. It's going to be the my shirt can beat your shirt.
Nice.
Yeah, because you have to do like a minimum, like our T-shirt maker, which is local, we can get a minimum order as low as 20. But if you have only 5 people that buy in on a T-shirt, well, then we have to pay for another 15 that we'll just have sitting around until we sell them. So that's why we're only doing one T-shirt design, and it's one that we have offered previously.
And a lot of people tend to like that T-shirt too. That's actually a lot of people like it because that shirt it brings out the uniqueness of Sporkman. So there's a lot of people who like it. The second runner-up was the chibi version that for my avatar. But yeah, most people like that shirt, so that's the one we're offering.
Nice, yeah, that'll be really nice. It's a fun shirt,
Yeah. Now the one thing we are doing on this tier is a little bit different. Is the $85 tier that was not offered in the other one because that was originally the $150 tier. So in this $85 tier, this is going to give you everything: a T-shirt, trade, floppies, and everything.
Well, no, $150 on the last one was the action figure one.
Right, but on this tier, $85 gets you everything except for the action figure.
Okay.
Which is why it's a little bit less. So.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, here, Cranky Writer says, just love this, but wonder how many people would be turned off knowing that the book is already completed. If it'll make the campaign suffer because the book is done. Well, my reply to that would be, well, what do they want? They apparently want a lot of work done. And so it's like, okay, well, there's a lot of work done, but then they don't like it because I don't think there's any formula, honestly.
I think what he's saying is because there's kind of this split between how crowdfunding should be used.
Yeah.
Should it be used to get the funds to make your project, or should it be a selling point for your comic instead of going through like regular distribution?
So,
the way I look, before you start on that, Chuck, I just wanted to really quickly. So the way I look at it is whether the project is complete or it's just getting started, the work is still getting done. So the regardless of when the work gets done, it should still get compensated for that work. So I don't feel that there should be any difference in it. That's just my view on it,
And that's a good view to take too. But I think that's what Matt was pinning it on is some people think that maybe you're just using Kickstarter to just make money instead of generate capital to start your project.
I have heard some funny stuff this week, but yeah, make money. Let me tell you.
That's that's the misconception.
No, you don't. You don't get into this business because you want to quote unquote make money. Believe me.
I know. I'm with you on that, but I'm just talking like Kickstarter in general. And this goes back to like a board game that came out called Gloomhaven, which made like over $1 million. Some of those big ones you can literally just keep doing Kickstarters and keep making like a ton of money off of it, and so that might play into that as well.
I don't know. I think you got to look at trends. I mean, what are people using the money for? Do they have like overly inflated pricing or something like that, where you say, "Oh man, why is he asking so much for that?" But I have seen people that black and white page count, that projects have had black and white page count less than we have, and they've made more on backers than we have. So, like I said, there really isn't a formula
for how crowdfunding. Well, here, give point in case. Okay, so the last campaign, and this also goes back to, so we've had conventions available. All right. So it's done, completed, available for sale. How many of these people that wanted? Oh, well, a project has to be completed. Well, point in case, Sportman's created the first one. Conventions. How many people have backed going out and bought the project? So it's. I think it's all. I think people like the spectacle. That's the whole thing.
You know what would be a bad idea is linking to from like your Kickstarter that you have that other project that's currently available for purchase.
Yeah, well, we've done that, and yeah, so it's neither. I don't know what it is. Like, I think for the backer kit, like I am going to make available for people to purchase conventions. That if they want conventions, they can purchase it after they're done as an add-on and stuff like that.
Yeah. Little things to add up to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's stuff that Eric and I will talk about on the back end because you don't do the backer kit stuff until the campaign's funded. So.
I think with some of that stuff too, there might, especially when you're dealing with something where shipping is involved. I think some people may also view it as they want to get all their stuff in one place. Like, why? You could go to 5 different stores, that are all specialty stores. You go buy something for your car at an auto store. You go buy some groceries, at a grocery store, and then you buy something somewhere else, some clothes, or you can go to Walmart and buy all of it just at one place. And so I think maybe too, there's the idea that if they buy all this stuff separately, that in the long run, they think it's going to cost more to them or something, or it's just ease of shopping. Well, I'm already here. I'm already buying this one thing. I can add on this other thing in like a second versus having to go to another site and order it there and everything. So, that might also play a part in it.
Yeah.
True. So we are getting close to the end of our time here. We have one more tier on the campaign, it looks like, which is the everything tier. And what is that? That comes with the floppies, the digital, the trade paperback, the shirt, the poster, the decal, another poster.
Yep, that tier is going to offer. The only tier that's going to offer the Ginger Foxy poster on,
and it's gorgeous.
Yep.
Dang, dude, yeah, that's a good incentive right there alone. Because I know everyone is gonna really like that one. Very cool. Well, that's awesome, guys. I can't wait for you guys to start that campaign. I'm really looking forward to you guys, and I see you guys have a good good goal. I think you guys can reach that, no problem, and keep going. So I'm really excited.
Well, the thing about and Chuck had brought this up with me. I said, well, we should make the goal a little bit higher, and he said, well, I'd rather get 500, which is our goal. I'd rather get 500 and walk away with something than set the goal at say 600, and if you don't make it, then you get nothing.
Right.
And, I said, well, you definitely have a point, because just because you set a goal doesn't mean you can't exceed it. So
exactly.
Hey,
right.
you may as well set it a little bit lower to make sure that you're getting something at the end of the day.
And that was something I learned from the Indiegogo, 100%.
Really?
Yeah. So
excuse me. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say that's something I learned, from the Indiegogo. Ideally, I wish I would have went with like a smaller fixed goal on the Indiegogo, and that might have generated some more interest, because some people might have not backed our project because of the flex goal and stuff like that. So
it's definitely going to be interesting seeing how Kickstarter goes when it's a fixed goal, because the first time we ran the Indiegogo, we made more on it, and we got a lot of backers that didn't come back this time. How many of those people didn't come back because we had changed from fixed to flex?
Yeah.
So that potentially could be a big difference. And if we go to Kickstarter and we blow it out of the water, well, we might say, hey, you know what? Maybe that was the problem.
Yeah, like we said, there's not a single formula for anything. So
nice. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense to me. You got to find your own way to do it. everyone's got to find their own path to making success work for them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we are, as I said, we are wrapping up, but I wanted to share a little something that Matt's been working on. We've in the Twitter post I made for this episode of the podcast, you can see there's a character there. He's the Wikid mascot, basically the Wikid publishing mascot, and he's going to be featured in his own comic soon, probably in the magazine and some other cool stuff like that. But we want to show a little updated version that Matt's been working on. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share this. 1 second. And so he's been doing a colorized version of it, kind of getting it ready. And so this guy, we call him a lizard wizard, and he runs a head shop in outer space for aliens. and he's kind of a fun character that we hope to explore and introduce to readers down the line. So just wanted to share that with you guys because I thought the coloring was really cool.
So weren't we talking that he was also going to sell comics in his head shop?
That's right. In fact, that's part of the meta part of the story, which is that he sells comics and he sells Wikid comics. So you'll see like Sportsman, and Wrath and all sorts of other stuff on his shelf. And that's just a fun little nod to our creators and stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for making that, Matt. I appreciate you putting in the time on that.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry, I've been kind of silent. It's just doing art and talking it's a little hard to do at the same time. Really,
I totally feel you. When people try to talk to me when I'm like drawing or I'm like playing a game, I'll like just sort of drift off. Like because I'll be thinking about what I want to say, but physically talking and drawing or doing something else at the same time is just like my brain can't do it.
Oh, that's so funny. It's like it's got to do this. It's got to put all its focus on just this right here. I can't deal with this other thing at this time. But no, yeah, that is funny. But yeah, no. So as I said, we're wrapping up here. Where can people follow you guys online and follow what you guys got going on?
Yeah, so you can follow me at Sporkman Studios for everything: Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Instagram, YouTube. That's basically the best way to get a hold of me.
And I'm at Jedi Raylan on Twitter.
You can find me on Twitter. Mostly it's at Druzelle_. That's DREWZELLE_.
And just want to add to that, she's got some commission spots open. So if you wanted something from Drew, now's the time, because once we get funded, that's going to close back up for quite a while.
Pretty much, that's it. I was like, I'm gonna post this, commission thing for May and June, and then Kickstarter ends in June. We'll see what happens. But probably gonna be pretty busy.
And then you can follow me at Kishkuman. And I will flood your stream with tons of Wrath-related promotional pieces. And we will be streaming again tonight. So if you wanted to catch that, definitely follow me so that you can get the link to that. And we're doing another one Sunday night.
And we'll also tweet out that link later as well. What time are you going to be going on?
I think tonight is 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then Sunday is going to be 7 p.m.
I think you got that backwards.
Standard Time.
I think it's 7 tonight.
I have it backwards? 7 tonight. Right, because you have work tomorrow.
I do have work tomorrow, and I don't get off until 7.
Okay.
That's probably good call then, yeah. Awesome.
I had that backwards. Thank you.
Definitely check those out tonight and tomorrow as well. And then Ginger, where can people follow you online?
On Twitter at ThatCraftyFoxy. Also Ginger Foxy on DeviantArt.
Oh, nice. Excellent. Well, thanks again for joining us, everyone. I really appreciate it. I'm sure you guys got a lot on your plates with all your campaigns going on and just about to start, and so I'm sure you're staying quite busy. So I appreciate you taking the time to come onto the podcast and talk with us. Is there any final words you want to say to all your fans and backers out there?
thanks for supporting us.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. And like, even if you don't have the, the funds to back the Kickstarter, just a simple, retweet on Twitter or just telling your friends about it, like that's just as important.
Yeah, like maybe you're not into comics, but you like the idea. Tell your comic book friends.
Yep.
Hell yeah. Awesome, guys. Well, I think that about wraps it up for this episode. I had something I wanted to play off right now. However, I think it might be best just to wait till the next time, just so I make sure the technical issues are all worked out before I try and run it through. So with that, I'll go ahead and call it a day. And thanks again for joining us, guys. And thanks to everyone in the chat who participated and asked questions and had some fun with us today. And we'll see you next time on the Wikid Weekend Podcast. Thanks again, guys. Take care.
Thanks.
Thanks.